in dysfunctional. Each and every weekday morning, the Pat and Aaron Show.
It's a little too early for being that loud.
Good morning, Tampa Bay.
And here we go.
Now your hosts, Pat Donovan and Aaron Jacobson.
Good morning, goons. Welcome to the Pat and Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Coming to you live on a football Friday. Aaron Jacobson is off today. He'll be back on Monday. I'll be with him on Monday, even though the Bucs play on Sunday night. They hooked me up with the home unit so I can wake up, roll out of bed, turn it on, and do some radio with Aaron Jacobson. But he'll be back, and then I'm out for the rest of the week. Aaron's out Christmas Eve and then Christmas, of course. But today, because Aaron is out, I've called in the reinforcements. Fresh with a Buccaneers Super Bowl champions hat on. Our good friend Rock Riley is in studio with us this morning. Rock, good morning. Thanks for hanging out today, man. It's always a lot more fun with you here.
Oh, man. Love coming in. Love talking to the goons. I had a Goon Squad IPA.
Did you?
Or two the other night.
Did you really?
A local watering hole, and loved it, and it tasted so good.
Oh, we're always allowed to mention places that are serving Goon Squad. Where were you at?
I was at actually two different places. One in Safety Harbor, Crooked Thumb, and another one at the lake, and that is up near my house at the East Lake area.
Ah.
And I
did East Lake High School football back in the day.
Boom, boom, boom. My daughter's a cheerleader there.
You remember Tampa Live Sports.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
More than most.
One of these days, you're going to do play-by-play. You got to get on it because you better beat out Chris Mathis. He's chomping at the bit. But now that he's
I love Chris Mathis, but
every man for himself.
If anyone's got a leg up with the Bucs Radio Network, Jeff Ryan, if you're listening. I've told Jeff Ryan before I want to be the guy. I know I'm not going to be.
Tell the listeners who Jeff Ryan is.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Jeff Ryan is the man who runs Buccaneer Radio Network.
He's the man.
He is the man.
He is the man.
The Bucs, they're looking to be the men again on Sunday, 4 in a row. I'll tell you what, Rock. Aaron is annoyed because I keep telling people I picked the Bucs to beat the Chargers, but if you would have told me it was going to be 40-17. I would have told you were crazy. I mean, the performance last Sunday was really impressive on a lot of levels, wasn't it?
I think that's why a lot of the national pundits, the media, is now taking a look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
How could you not?
Pat McAfee show on ESPN, NFL Network, you name it. Kay, what's her name? She's tiny, but she's
Kay Adams.
Kay Adams, and oh my God.
Where is she now? I don't know where to find her. Once she's gone from NFL Network,
Up and Adams. That's their podcast.
Thank you.
No, I've heard of Up and Adams, but where do you find?
Gronk is on there once a week, isn't
Yeah, well, every week. Wow.
Yeah.
So, but Up and Adams, but where do I find Up and Adams?
That's a good question,
You
man.
see?
Honestly.
I just see the clips on my social media, on Twitter, on X. But you are right. Bottom line is, look at what the Chargers did last night.
Yeah, what a rebound.
Look at how they rebounded. That was a good team. That was a good defense. What the Buccaneers on offense are doing. Now, I can tell you, Pat, being there yesterday, being there this week, being in the locker room, they are confident. They are loose. The starting line, the offensive line. We were talking to Lou Gedeke. Tristan Wirfs was busting chops there on that right side where the whole offensive line is. The defense down there, they were hooting and hollering yesterday. I mean, they are loose. They're feeling it.
And that's
They're
the
feeling
thing.
the confidence, man.
Yeah, that's the thing we're all talking about, and for good reason, the offense right now, because that offensive line is playing as well as any in football. And we were talking about it right before the show. I was saying to you, you were like, I think this is very sustainable, what they're doing offensively. And I'm like, yeah, when you're good on the offensive line, right, you're good.
Everything starts up front.
Offensively, yeah. And that's what I always say. You got to build inside out. You got to build both sides of the football. You got to build inside out, because if you're bad on the line on both sides, you're not going to be any good offensively or defensively, right? So you're right. It's very sustainable what they're doing offensively because of that offensive line. It's been really so impressive, but as much as we're talking about the offense, because they're playing at times a dominant brand of football.
As good as anybody in the NFL, offensively.
There's nothing we would say, I think you would agree, about the defense over the last handful of weeks that we would call dominant. However, since the bye week,
better.
Not just better, the best points per game defensively in the NFL, 15 points a game since the bye week. And again, is part of that absolutely product of who they're playing? The Chargers are the only good football team they've played. So that's part of it, no doubt about it. But this is a defense, Brock, that earlier in the season, it didn't matter how good or bad you were. They were giving up a bunch of yards and probably some points too.
So Bowles yesterday was hitting on that, and he was saying that it really was in the bye week, and they came back, and it was really coming back to basics. It isn't like we talked to one of the defensive coaches yesterday. It wasn't like a whole lot of changes. It's like do what you do well, and the game planning and the adjusting has been better. It's been a little bit more different. It used to be bring the house, and it was go to their strengths, and you know what? Now the game planning is better, and it's different for each team. And I had to be careful with my wording because I put it out, and I had a soundbite, as they call it, from Todd Bowles yesterday. And I said, Todd Bowles said that they're game planning specifically for each opponent a little bit differently and stronger. And one guy is on like, oh my God, I've been defending Bowles. Here we go. But, he doesn't even game plan. He's only learning this now. And I'm like, you know what I had to do? I actually had to delete and change my wording. Just so, because a lot of people are just looking for they're still looking for like a reason to jump on Bowles.
I think you got to give them a ton of credit.
Oh my God, they've won 4 in a row. Look at where they're at, They're
super young. It's difficult. Like, for the most part, they've been pretty disciplined. There are times where they've gotten into trouble with penalties, but not a lot. We've seen this team be much more veteran-laden and make many more mistakes. This year, for a super young football team, the second youngest in the league, I don't know, maybe things have changed because roster movement and stuff, but for most of the year at least, second youngest football team in the league, and they may still be, to not make many mistakes, to have the resiliency that they do, to not allow themselves to get beaten. The offense, and we're going to get into the rookies in a couple minutes, in about 6:30, but this is a football team that's doing some impressive things. And Todd Bowles, we want to kill him every time that things don't go well. We better give him some damn credit when things do.
No, isn't this something? Isn't this something? And then there's the Liam Cohen situation. So what do you do now? I say you just ride this out. You go each win, see how far you can go in the playoffs, and then you make your decision. I'm sure that they're trying to figure it out. But it's like Liam Cohen, what he has brought. Now,
we got to play one of the comments from him, the one that he responded to your question actually today, because I didn't love his answer, Rock, because it makes me nervous.
Oh, really? Is that kind of how you took it? No, I took it as being very honest. But Bowles was on Sirius. He was on Sirius XM NFL, and he said that he's actually pulling for him. He hopes that he does get a head coaching job. And I'll have to start again looking for another offensive coordinator because he honestly does care about him. He wants him to get his opportunity. He's going to get a head coaching opportunity. Yeah. He's going to get it.
I mean, you never know. It might not be this year. He may not find the right opportunity this year. We've seen that happen.
Because you know what? Colin did say that. What a situation this is with Baker Mayfield, with Evans, with the running attack, with the good offensive line. Maybe he's like that guy from the Lions that didn't jump, Ben Johnson, said, maybe you know what? I'm in a good spot right here. Why not go another year, see how far we can go, and then I might have a better choice of a team. So there might be that.
Yeah. Now, allegedly, at least according to reporting, Ben Johnson wants like $1 billion a year. And obviously that's a bit of an exaggeration, but he wants stupid amounts of money, apparently, to be a head coach. So that could be part of it, is that he's waiting for the team that's actually willing to pay that. But you're right. Listen, I've already heard Liam Cohen on national shows being talked about as one of the guys that is absolutely going to draw a ton of attention this offseason. How could he not? I mean, when you look at
young offensive coordinator that's hot and putting up big numbers.
I mean, he's made Dave Canales almost look bad as an offensive coordinator, right?
I agree.
When you think about what this offense was last year, I don't like to crush Dave Canales because I like the guy a lot, and I think his personality is very well suited to be a head coach because of that energy that he brings to a football team.
Baker really loved him. Baker said he's the most positive guy he's ever been around.
What do you call him?
He always looks at the positive.
He called him an optimist bully or something like that, right? But
yes.
At the same time, you talk to guys during training camp. I know you did. And right away, they were talking about how much more complex, how much more opportunities they were going to have within the offense. There is a game plan to get guys the football, and that just wasn't always the case under Dave Canales, and you could tell. He had a book of plays, and he was going to call plays out of it. I don't know that he had a specific game plan when it came to the opponent, a specific game plan to get certain guys the football in situations. I mean, that's why the Bucs... It's a big part of the reason why the Bucs have been so good on third down is Liam Cohen is scheming guys open to get just enough yards to keep that drive going. You sustain drives, and the offense, as we've seen this year, is totally different. And an offense that was so stagnant at times last year, right? Yeah, they got better because it was terrible the year before.
We heard defensive players on the opposing team saying we knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Remember that? I forget who it was. It was mic'd up. We know what's coming.
They sure as hell don't now. But I know what's coming. Today's top headlines with Casey Warner. He'll fill us in on all the biggest stories in sports. That's coming up next in the Pat and Aaron Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Don't forget, by the way, we've got another pair of tickets to the ReliaQuest Bowl, Michigan, Alabama, New Year's Eve. Make sure you're listening to the show. It'll be something we talk about on the show that will help you win tickets to the ReliaQuest Bowl coming up later on the Pat and Aaron Show.
WDAE.
Traffic update.
From the Safe Touch Security Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Brandon Exchange.
Serious crash investigation on eastbound Roosevelt just before the Bayside Bridge and 49th Street. Lanes are blocked there. Use Ulmerton Road instead to get around this. No major problems to report on the interstates around Tampa Bay. Traffic moving well in both directions on I-4 and on 75 throughout the area. Get traffic info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Randy Myers.
Spend your holiday season where fashion, food, and fun awaits at Brandon Exchange. Shop during extended hours, visit with Santa, and find gifts for everyone on your list. Located at the intersection of I-75 and State Road 60 in Brandon.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho 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 ho.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-529-2856. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
Christmas music is playing now.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
On Tampa Bay's official Christmas station, Mix 100.7.
Oh, we need a Christmas right this very minute.
Stream it all day on the free iHeartRadio app.
Presented by our partners at Snowcat Ridge Alpine Snow Park.
Hey friends, it's Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators. Want to make this the most unforgettable Christmas? International Diamond Center is your destination. I love this place. IDC is the official jeweler of Gator Nation, and this season they're doing something amazing. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Pick any item and divide the price by 60, and that's your payment. It makes everything affordable. IDC Showcase.
95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Top headlines.
It's time for today's top headlines, brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. Mr. Warner.
All right. Football Friday on WDAE is presented by Wesley Chapel Lexus, home of the exclusive Lexus Lifetime Plan. When you think Lexus, think Wesley Chapel Lexus, the largest Lexus dealer on Florida's West Coast, online at wesleychapellexus.com. And we had a pretty dang good Thursday night football game last night. I don't know about you all. I was out very early. I saw a bit of the first quarter. Did not catch the rest of it, though, but it looked like it turned out very exciting. 34-27, two playoff hopefuls. The Broncos could have clinched their first playoff berth since 2015 when Peyton Manning was under center, but they come up short, and the San Diego Chargers now have a very high chance of getting in. Broncos still do, too. They get the win, and Justin Herbert throws a couple touchdowns. Bo Nix throws a couple touchdowns, and it was a high-scoring game.
It was, and I saw a little bit of it. I kind of bounced in and out of consciousness during this football game. But listen, Rock mentioned it earlier, a really great way to bounce back for the Los Angeles Chargers after just getting throttled by the Buccaneers on Sunday. And I think when you see the way they performed on a short week, it just goes to show you even more how impressive that win was for the Bucs on Sunday.
Or just week to week in the NFL, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't bet. It's unbelievable. But I was listening to Harbaugh's press conference after the Buccaneers throttling. He was so down. He was just like, we'll see how they respond. They're men. We'll see how they respond. It's a short week. We'll see how they respond. What about Justin Herbert? Was he limited a little bit? We'll see how he responds. And they did, big time.
I think it was Bosa I heard after the game. I heard him on the way in on ESPN overnight. I think it was him that was saying, like, probably good that we had a short week this week.
Oh, interesting to look at it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To flush it. So, no, I think Herbert is a good quarterback. They have a good defense. They were able to run the ball. So there was a nice win. And the Broncos, you know what I mean? They're all right.
Justin Herbert's a good quarterback, but you know who he is? He's the Dallas Cowboys of quarterbacks.
Now, why?
Because
I got to hear this.
Because ever since he's been drafted, I've been told he's an MVP candidate, and he's never done anything, in my opinion, to prove that he should be. And the Dallas Cowboys, every single year, I'm told that they're Super Bowl contenders, and every single year they prove that they're fugazi.
Jerry. What about Jerry? Do you like Jerry or you don't like Jerry?
I mean, Jerry seems like a lot of fun.
He eats squirrel and raccoon. Did you hear? Do you know about that?
I've had squirrel and spaghetti sauce because
no, get out of here.
I'm Italian, and my grandfather was a hunter, and if he killed it, it would go in the sauce. And he would kill squirrel, and we would eat.
I didn't know that was could be an Italian dish.
Well,
squirrel?
Basically anything you kill, if you put it in spaghetti sauce, that makes it Italian. That's how it worked in my family.
Man, I'm learning something today, man. I had never heard of that.
But listen,
pasta.
Jerry's got the checkered past, if you will, but he seems like a guy that I would party with.
I have told you that one story, I think. I'll tell you off the air.
I think you have.
You know what I'm talking
listen
about.
again.
Was that the Senior Bowl? I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, even the stuff that's public.
Right.
Like, who else could survive through the Me Too movement with that picture of the girl just pressed up against his package?
Tell me what. I don't know about this.
What?
I'm just
kidding.
I
was going to say. But, seriously.
I was trying to get it out of him, Casey.
What other owner in sports? I mean, it's like that picture came up, it went away, and I never heard about it. And I'm almost proud of him for it.
One year at Canton, at the preseason game, I'm standing there. Jerry Jones's bus pulls up. Out comes the driver. He puts down a red carpet. Jerry Jones pulls up in the limo. His wife, another couple, helps him, puts one step so he doesn't even have to take one step up into the bus. I look inside the bus, gold plated. Everything is gold plated.
Wow.
Everything, yeah. Then next limo pulls up, Romo gets out with his lady. And then another couple. And then they go in there. And it's like, look at how Jerry rolls. And this was to the preseason kickoff game at Canton. That's the calm story.
I cleaned houses for a little while in my younger days. And we cleaned, rich houses, like money I'll never know. And like we had one house that we did where the entire dining room was either gold or mirrored. It was insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
It was like like the same family. They owned a jewelry store. This is up in Massachusetts, the Boston area and stuff. Same family owned a jewelry store, and I remember we would clean the jewelry store. And I'll never forget. I picked up a pair of like leather slippers in the jewelry store one day, and I think they were like, and this is 30 years ago too.
Yeah,
like $8,000 for a pair of slippers. You could give me all the money in the world, and I'm not buying the $8,000 slippers.
I can't see you in a robe and slippers walking around the house. Do you do?
No, you don't want to know what I look like walking around the house.
I don't. Casey,
let's just say there's no robe or slippers going on. Well, sometimes slippers when it's cold.
All right, I don't want to know anymore.
All right, so we'll move on. Next top headline today is Carson Beck, Georgia's quarterback, was said to be out just for this week maybe, and maybe to come back in the second round of the college football playoff. But it's looking like he is exploring surgery on his injured throwing elbow, and he's expected to miss the entire college football playoff, reportedly. Gunnar Stockton will make his first career start in the Sugar Bowl for the Georgia Bulldogs.
I mean, if you think about it, assuming Notre Dame gets by Indiana tonight, which I hope they don't, by the way. I'm pulling for the Indiana fighting Beckles hard, right? For Ian alone. And Ian's talking about going to the Sugar Bowl. Bringing his son to the Sugar Bowl if by some chance Indiana gets by Notre Dame tonight. But if you're Notre Dame, if you can get by Indiana tonight, then you've got Georgia without their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And then potentially Boise State, Penn State, SMU. Like, you could have I don't want to say easy, but for a 7 seed,
I agree. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Very navigatable path to the championship.
Yeah. Georgia, it hasn't been Georgia's year anyway. And now you go with the backup coming in with all the pressure like that. That's going to be hard for the Dogs. My wife is a Georgia dog, so
he didn't look very good when Beck went out.
No,
in that last game,
it's
like
going to be.
He looked afraid to throw the ball at all.
I don't think Carson Beck looked all that great this season.
No, you're not wrong.
So, I mean,
but this kid looked worse. This kid looked worse,
Yeah.
or at least less. I mean, they just looked afraid to throw the ball with the kid at all. And you're not going to win a national championship that way.
I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I got in the car this morning, I sat down and I looked at, what games are on the slate tonight, and I saw that beautiful first-round matchup of the college football playoff, and just a wave of comfort hit me, just picturing myself sitting on my couch tonight watching that game.
Listen, it's not just tonight, 6:45.
What a weekend.
Yeah,
man.
6:45. We're going to talk about how it's going to be one of the greatest weekends in sports history. Certainly in college football history. Also, 7:15, your chance to win ReliaQuest Bowl tickets. Don't forget, make sure you're paying attention to the show.
Nice.
Because if you're not listening, you will definitely not know the answer to the question we're going to ask you when it comes to how to win ReliaQuest Bowl tickets coming up at 7:15. Again, that game coming up on New Year's Eve. We've just, this college football playoff. And
it's
again, we're
turned
going
out
to get
to
into
be
it
even
later.
better than I thought. You remember we didn't know, 12, how's it going to go? Everybody I talked to loves this.
I do. And I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this for so long. I always thought that the first of all, before the playoff, I mean, handing people trophies was ridiculous. Okay? I mean, the
computer method or the BCS?
Yes. Yes, right? Either way. I did not think it was a good idea to just hand people trophies. And then a 14 playoff was fine, but it wasn't real. It's not, in my opinion, that's not really a playoff. This is a playoff. This to me,
it's great.
It's great. It's great for college football. I mean, listen, one of the things we love so much about the NFL is parity and the opportunity for teams to win that you didn't think would win. And it's going to be difficult, I think, for a while for a lower seed in the college football playoff to win it all. But it's going to happen sooner or later, and it's going to be awesome. I think so. And I think it's great for college football. I really do. Especially at a time where there's a lot of things that are not great for college football, and they've got to figure out. Like, I like NIL and some of that stuff, the revenue sharing.
It's the Wild Wild West.
You're 100% right. And the conference movement, and, like, I think there's a time where eventually the whole thing blows up. the whole thing when it comes to conferences just gets blown up. But that's probably a little ways away. All right, don't forget football pick'em as well at 8:00 today. Jeff Attinella from Smack Apparel. He'll be back in the building for what feels like the first time in 6 months. It's been a couple weeks. Also, not Jeff Attinella. We just said Jeff Attinella. We'll also have our good friend from Suncoast Credit Union joining us today. And listen, he's an Army guy. Bob Hyde is. I'm sorry, he's a Navy guy. Army. I hope he's not listening, Bob. Bob, I'm really sorry. Bob's a Navy guy. He told us this. We went to the Rays game with our friends from Suncoast late in the year, in the Rays season, that is. And I said, hey, you better come do football pick'em with us after an Army-Navy game. We'll get you a little something at the game. And, so good to see Bob Hyde today.
We won't say anything.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him what we got here. He could be listening.
Was that your last game at the Trop? Did you ever see there?
This year, yeah. It was one of the last games.
Will it be ever?
Oh, ever. No, I don't think so.
I don't want to start anything.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But it is a football Friday.
Yes,
We've spent so much time in the Rays Stadium this week.
I understand.
And we can, but we will not
I
today.
understand.
And not next. On the other side, the Bucks rookie class has had a major impact on this season. But when we return, we're going to tell you the one guy that's keeping this class from being
You at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily.
Football Friday on the Pat Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Rock Riley in studio with me today. Woo! Aaron Jacobson is off. Matt Matera joins us at 7:30 from pewterreport.com and does a great job with them. And then, of course, 8 o'clock, Bob Hyde, Suncoast Credit Union, as well as Jeff Attinella will be with us for Football Pick'em. And usually it's 8 NFL games and 2 college games. But this weekend, of course, we're doing all of the college football playoff games as part of Pick'em. And Casey Warner, he's, as he pointed out before the show, dominating Pick'em. I think Casey and I are the only two over 500, but he's got a significant lead over me. He is 71, 71 and 59. Ooh. I'm 66 and 64, so he's got a 5-game lead on me. Aaron's like 14 games below 500.
Isn't he the big gambler?
He's having a tough
year.
He is.
And he's geez.
Yeah, he's the gambling guy.
Okay,
but this is why he hasn't hit one of his. He's doing parlays of the day on Instagram. He keeps getting 2 out of 3 legs and saying he should do just a 2-leg parlay. But I keep telling him that's a lame parlay. 2 legs is just lame. That's barely a parlay, Aaron Jacobson. But Aaron's out today. He'll be back on Monday for hopefully a victory Monday as the Buccaneers take on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas on Sunday Night Football. Here's how well the Bucs are playing right now. The Bucs are playing so well right now. I haven't seen a single text this week on the Bartow Ford DAE text line about how the Bucs suck in primetime. Because typically, if they're playing in primetime, everyone's going, "Oh God, primetime! Oh God, backup quarterback." I haven't heard any of that this week. week.
No, you're right. What is it? Is it 2-9? What is the rate? I know it's bad in primetime. It's bad.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Scott Reynolds and I were walking out yesterday, and he mentioned it the first thing, and I was like, "Wow, I knew it was bad." But anyway, this is. It's.
I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I really do. Listen, only the Carolina Panthers and Indianapolis Colts are giving up more yards on the ground per game than the Dallas Cowboys. So the Buccaneers, the way that offensive line is churning, the way Bucky's going, even Rashad White, even Sean Tucker when we actually see him, this team can run the football, I believe, against anybody. So mentioned before the break, this rookie class has been really good. Graham Barton and Bucky Irving have been phenomenal. I think Tyke Smith has been pretty much as good. He's just been so dinged up.
Can't make the club in the tub, as Warren Sapp used to say. No, he's hurt, and it doesn't look like. I don't know if he's going to be able to go. We're going to find out today.
You think so?
With Bowles.
I feel like Tyke's going to go. Hasn't he been limited the last couple days?
I think he took a step back.
Did he? Man.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. But no, when he's in there, he didn't have his best game last week. And
limited both days.
All right. I think that was why last game. But anyway.
But
no, you're right.
Of those guys have been phenomenal.
With Jason Light and his staff, here you go. Great job.
By the way, this is the time that Jason Light's on the way to work a lot of times. He tells me he listens to the show, so you probably heard that, Rob Riley.
Hit him in the shoulder yesterday walking in the locker room.
Jalen McMillan has been very good as well. Pretty good, right?
No, he is getting better.
Oh, yeah.
So we asked him why. Day before yesterday, practicing better. He is learning to every one of his routes. He's been watching Mike Evans, and he used to watch Godwin. And he goes, "What I'm doing is I'm practicing. I'm taking every route seriously in practice, and that's why it's translating to game time." How about that?
And by the way, you can't criticize the kid, I guess I would say, for not being a perfect route runner out of the box. You know this. Mike Evans, I wouldn't say struggled as a route runner, but sir, I don't think he was the route runner that he is today until Todd Monken got here. I think Todd Monken really changed his practice habits. And it's not that he wasn't practicing hard. I just think there was some certain things in his game that he needed to clean up from a route running standpoint, right? I don't think he was quite as crisp, and I think Todd Monken, and I've always meant to ask Mike about this, and it's never kind of been the right time. There's going to be a time, but I feel like Todd Monken changed Mike Evans dramatically He was already great.
Monken is a good coach. Did you see the video yesterday at Ravens practice where he's running up to the running backs and he just shows them it's ball security and he takes one of them and he's like tries to pull it out, and then he runs right back. And it's this late in the season, but he is a damn good coach.
He really is. He's a really good coach, and I think he had a big impact on Mike Evans. So it takes guys a little while to learn how you can practice hard and not really know how to practice right. You can practice hard and just not really be a pro because it takes a while to become a pro in this league, even for a guy as great as Mike Evans. So I'm not shocked that it's taken Jalen McMillan a little while. But when you talk about those 4 rookies in particular, I think the word fantastic comes to mind. The impact they've had on this football team, especially guys like Graham Barton, Bucky Irving, and when healthy, Tyke Smith. But the guy who is keeping this, Jason, if you're listening, the guy who's keeping this from being an A-plus draft class right now, in my opinion, is Chris Braswell, man. I
thought you were going to say Devin Culp, because we really haven't seen him. That's what I thought you were getting
Listen,
at.
when you get past round 5, your expectations should go down, right? If you make the team as a late round draft pick, good for you. You can maybe develop into a guy in a couple years, right? That's the way I look at it. Some of those guys make an impact quickly. Trey Palmer was, I think, a 6th round pick last year and had a pretty good impact on that football team.
Up pissed off on Sunday.
Right?
I've been waiting for that.
But Chris Braswell, man, like he's had opportunities, maybe not as many as we would like. But I mean, we had a couple of weeks with Joe Tryon-Shoyinka not getting on the football field, and it was still more Anthony Nelson.
Until you just brought him
Well,
up.
think of that. Right? He was the 2nd round draft pick.
I totally forgot about it.
2nd round draft pick and a guy who we really need to have an impact on this football team. That was the thing coming into the season, Rock, that I was worried about. That was the thing coming into the season. I said, I didn't think they did enough at outside linebacker. And I don't give a damn if Randy Gregory was here. He's still Randy Gregory. He might have given you 3 sacks this season, okay? I wasn't ever going to be psyched about Randy Gregory. But I was pretty excited about what I thought Chris Braswell could bring to the table. A guy that had, even though wasn't always a starter at Alabama, had really good pass rush numbers at Alabama as far as getting to the quarterback and his athletic ability. We've seen videos and stuff after the draft. I mean, the kid is an athletic freak. So are a lot of guys. Doesn't always make you a great player in this league. And for me, half a sack this late into the season for Chris Braswell, as disappointing as just about anything on this football team for me.
That's fair. I was just going to say, sometimes it takes guys longer than others.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying he's a bust.
I actually had forgotten about Braswell until you just brought him up. I'm not kidding you.
I'm not saying he's a bust. He's got a long way to go.
Okay.
And I'm not about giving up on kids really early in this league. I think we do that way too often, especially at quarterback. And not kids, but head coaches, we do the same thing. I believe in continuity at those places if you can have it. And we do, we draft kids now, and we're talking about them being garbage 2 or 3 years later. And it's like, Baker Mayfield's a prime example, right? If they'd have stuck it out with him in Cleveland after a couple of rough years and some injuries, who knows? They certainly wouldn't be paying Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed. That we do know.
Look at Sam Darnold, and he finally look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So certainly,
what Penix can do.
It's very early for Chris Braswell, but I've been disappointed.
That's a good point. I totally forgot about it.
I think we need him to be big. They're not getting enough pressure off the outside, and with what they do inside with Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey, if you can get some pressure off the edge, man, this defense would be dangerous.
Did you hear what Bowles said about Kancey? He's as good of a cover guy. This is a D line.
He had a great play in coverage last weekend.
Did.
I don't love those guys dropping back. To be fair, I'd rather him putting pressure on the quarterback. But I was impressed with one of his plays in coverage. You're 100% right. All right, we got to get to the break. When we return, tonight is the beginning of one of the greatest sports. Pat Aaron Show. Aaron's on vacation today. He'll be back on Monday. Rock Riley just gave me mind-blowing news.
What's up? Woo! I saw Ric Flair yesterday.
One of the biggest douchebags I've ever worked with in the entire industry apparently is back in Tampa.
Don't say his name. Don't say his name. Don't say his name. Don't say his name.
Well, should I not say his name that he goes by, or should I not say his real name?
Don't even say. Don't even say. I told you that now.
This douche.
Don't even say. No, be nice.
This douche. He once looked. He used to go on the radio. I won't say any names. He used to go on the radio and say, "I am the greatest sports talk radio host in the history of Tampa Bay." So the first time I heard it, I worked with him. And the first time I heard it, I pulled him aside and I said, "Hey, man, here's the deal. I know you never heard of him, but there's a guy that used to live here and be on the radio here named Chris Thomas. And he was beloved. And he's passed away. And when you say I'm the greatest sports talk radio host in the history of Tampa Bay, you're crapping on that guy's legacy. And listeners are going to hate you for it. Don't do it." And he's like, "I don't care. I don't care."
No, he's very confident.
I mean, the biggest douche.
Gabe Hobbs used to run like sports stations and this and that, and he went to him and he would say, "I'm going to beat this guy Dumick. I'm going to beat this guy Dumick. I'm going to beat this guy Dumick. Big dog, big dog." And he said, Don't even try. Do the best that you can do at what you're doing.
Not where we were at.
Try to go over there and try to beat that guy.
Unbelievable.
And that was the advice, but that's it. How about that?
Unbelievable.
There you go. And things come back around, buddy.
Did you know he used to email program directors in this town pretending to be listeners of his, saying, "You got to bring this guy in."
No, he do that. He went that route.
Top-notch guest. It would be the same exact verbiage he would use on the air about how he got T.I. on the radio, and everybody should be impressed because he got T.I. I don't even know who T.I. is. Case you know who T.I. is, right?
T.I., the rapper, yeah, he's from Atlanta.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, that's enough information.
All right, sorry, Rock. Sorry, Rock. My fault.
That's okay. That's okay.
Hey, this weekend,
what's going on?
starting tonight, it literally is one of the greatest sports weekends ever.
Damn.
Ever.
It is.
I mean, it is going to be so amazing.
I'm ready.
Just, we were talking about it earlier. I could not wait for us to finally have a college football playoff, like a real playoff. And that's what we have. And it starts tonight. And I love that it starts tonight. You know, it just kind of gets everything working, kind of gets the blood flowing. And, of course, tonight it's going to be Notre Dame and Indiana. I would really love to see Indiana pull that off. I don't know how confident I am. We've got football pick'em coming up later, so don't give out too much, Rock Riley.
Right.
I'm pulling, like I said, Ian Beckles said he's bringing his kid
Dignitary
to the Sugar Bowl if Indiana can pull it off against Notre Dame. So I'm praying for Beckles. I might even just pick Indiana for Beckles, even though I don't know. We'll see what the point spread is when we get to 8 o'clock.
Put your money where your mouth is?
Yeah.
No.
That kicks us off tonight. And then tomorrow.
Yes.
I mean, we're littered. We've got 3 college football playoff games and 2 NFL games tomorrow.
Do you have a couple of screens? Is it remote? Are you going to this? And okay, this one's starting. Now I'm going to go over here. How do you do it, Pat? How do you do it in the Donovan household, the Goon Squad household?
So Saturdays, typically during the regular season, I'm just going to throw on whatever games I like best. I might bounce around a little bit, but I'm just using the one TV.
Got you.
Sundays, remember, I'm not home for most of the day, no matter what, whether road or at home.
You were running lane.
Yeah, I'm either here for 10 hours or so, or here and the stadium for 10 hours or so. And so by the time I get home, I'll just watch Red Zone, depending on what time it is, right? Like I'll do the best I can. But this weekend in particular, we do have like a second kind of floating TV. Sometimes my wife will plug it in on the kitchen table and watch stuff while she's cooking, right? Or watch recipes on there or whatever. I'm not 100% sure what she does with it, but I know it's on the kitchen table. But that one, I think I might slide because I've got enough room. That's probably like a 32, I think. Maybe, probably 32. And I've
talking
got
about your waist since you lost weight?
Yeah, right. A couple more. That's a 32-inch.
Nice.
The one in the living room, our main living room, is 65.
Yes.
So this one will fit on the little, not coffee table, but the little end table deal, whatever the hell it is under our TV.
Oh, you're getting ready.
It'll fit perfectly underneath the other television to where I can have, for me, I'm always, you know me, I'm NFL first always.
I know.
Not this weekend.
Nice.
This is the first weekend of the college football playoffs.
Awesome.
So I'll have the big TV with the college football playoff game on. and then on the smaller TV underneath, I'll have whatever NFL games on at the time. But yeah, tomorrow.
What kind of food? What kind of food? Are you going to go easy?
Yeah, I probably won't go crazy.
Your favorite dips, right?
Oh, definitely Daisy dips.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had Daisy dips.
No, I have not.
They're amazing.
Oh.
Sour cream dips.
Oh.
That's right.
Okay.
You might hear a commercial for them coming up. You never know. But they're delicious. They're delicious dips. It was fun. I won't get into it. I was
You
going
said dips, right? DIPS?
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think I said?
Oh, I don't know. Go.
So,
I'm
yes,
so
tonight
excited.
we have the first game of the college football playoffs with Indiana and Notre Dame. And then tomorrow it starts off with SMU versus Penn State. Then we've got Clemson and Texas, Tennessee versus Ohio State. Plus, like we said, the Texans at the Chiefs and Pittsburgh at Baltimore. So those are two pretty good NFL games.
Damn good games, man.
Pretty good NFL games.
Yes.
So it really is one of the greatest sports weekends ever.
I am set. Like tonight, I got to take my daughter to this. We got to go here, got to go there. All right. But tomorrow, man, I don't think she has anything planned for.
Now your daughter's in high school now,
Yeah,
right?
she's in high school.
So, what, are you going to bring her to like a high school football game, or what's?
No, I think she's actually we're going to one place. So they're going to show a movie, and then she's going to go to a party, and I'll be there, and I'll pick her up, and this and that. So I'm doing the dad thing today, but tomorrow, I don't think my wife has anything planned for me.
There
I
you
remember
go.
Dave Moore would always tell me, what do you got for me? And I just do what my wife says. That's how I do it. What about you? Does she do the planning? Does she tell you where you're going, or you're so darn busy with all your stuff?
Heidi is great. She's not pushy about anything. If she wants to do something, she'll say, "Hey, I'm going to do this. If you want to do it with me, great." If there's something she definitely wants to do, usually we'll kind of just figure it out on the days that we actually have together. Because you're right, like every Sunday I'm looking.
Yeah, you're more.
Saturday's her day, right? If we're gonna get anything done, Saturday's the only day I don't work, and she works all week long too. So like during the week, there's not a lot of time for much usually. So Saturday's at least during football season, right?
So
Saturday's
for tomorrow,
our
you're
day.
good. She knows that the big day.
We haven't really talked about it, but if I say to her, I'm going to hang out and watch football all day, she'll be like, cool. Like, she has no issue with it. Her mom, actually, she flies out in the morning, so she won't be here. She'll be here tonight. But tonight, I'm going to get some lobster. At,
oh, damn.
I can't remember what the food truck is, but there's a lobster food truck at Magnanimous tonight, which is one of my favorite breweries. If you haven't been, unbelievable.
Where's that at?
So there's one in Tampa, like South Tampa, right on Florida. I usually go to the one that's in Seminole Heights on Nebraska. It's a bigger location. It's closer to my home. Tonight they've got the lobster food truck. And my guy Gabriel from Meat and Bone, we haven't actually met. We've talked a million times because he's in Miami. He's in town tonight, so we're going to go get some beers and some lobster.
Well, you're living
over
the
at
life.
Magnanimous.
Guys, is he not living the life, man?
Always.
I'm trying.
The best foods, the best beers.
Yes.
They are the best beers. I haven't had one in a while. I'm ready.
Awesome.
All right, we've got a bunch coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Don't forget, 7:15, your chance to win ReliaQuest Bowl tickets, but you've got to be paying attention to what we're talking about. On the other side, we're going to tell you why, the biggest reason why the Bucs
Mighty AM 620 WDAE St. Petersburg, an iHeart radio station.
Rock Riley, I have a special talent. Some people come in here and do this job, but I have a special talent.
What's that?
Very few people, I think in the history of radio, have started a segment with their microphone off as often as I have.
It's amazing.
I just did it again. Anybody watching on the live stream, you may notice. I don't know what it is.
I thought he was going to be drinking beer,
No,
food,
no,
telling jokes, open mic.
My only talent is forgetting to turn this microphone on, apparently. At the top of the hour, it seems like a lot, too.
Hey, at least you're good at it. You got to be good at something.
I'm great at it. Great at it, not turning on the mic. Hour number 2, Rock Riley in for Aaron Jacobson on a Football Friday again. Coming up in about 10 minutes, your chance to win ReliaQuest Bowl tickets. You better be listening.
I love that.
Because it's going to be something it's an unbelievable bowl game. And this year, Michigan, Alabama, I cannot
Nick
wait.
Wise is going to be on the sidelines with Mathis as a Michigan guy.
I don't think he's on the sidelines. He's doing pre and post and halftime.
Is Mathis on the sidelines?
I don't know if we have a sideline guy.
No, I thought Nick.
We
told me
didn't last
I thought
year.
he was going to be on the sideline. Okay,
Really? He might.
okay.
Maybe he will.
Maybe he will after he does pre and post. Maybe that's what he meant.
This will
Maybe
be.
he's got
I want to say was it my third year? This is my third year doing color commentary for the game
with
TJ Reeves.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And the last 2 we have not had a sideline guy. Used to be Steve Carney back in the day.
And I did it before Carney. It's
really?
Yeah, it's great, man.
I've always wondered what that sideline gig is like.
It's great.
Because as much as I want to be the play-by-play guy for the Bucs, I would imagine TJ Reeves has a leg up. And if he's up in the booth, I'm just saying, Jeff Ryan, if you're listening, once again, he's the guy who runs Bucs Radio. I would consider the sidelines. I'm just saying, it's something I would consider. But who knows? Who knows what's going to come?
This is 2025 now. That's how you do your pitches.
That's right. Well, we never know. It could be 2026. Gene Deckerhoff is forever. All right? That guy was going to do play-by-play till he doesn't want to do it anymore. He's amazing.
And you know what, man? When I see him in the press box, even on game day and stuff, he always big smile.
Oh, yeah.
Point. Everybody loves Gene.
He's so nice to me, but I don't think he has any idea who I am.
No,
I'm on the broadcast team with him.
No, you'd be surprised.
He even told Ronnie Lane last week, you and Pat do a great job. And I was like, I didn't know.
See? I walked in with him one day from the parking lot. He gets stopped every step by Buccaneer fans that want a selfie.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
So Gene was my introduction to Tampa Bay radio. My very first job over at the other little place that you and I both spent time at.
That's not even right now. What?
I would run the board for Florida State basketball games because they were an affiliate. And they had the local commercials, so I'd be there to do it. And sometimes it would be late at night. They'd be West Coast or something. And I'd be in there practically falling asleep. And I remember one night I felt like I was going to nod off. And I never did. I'm a professional, sort of. But one night, I'm kind of it's getting late. I'm feeling like I want to nod off. And then all of a sudden, I can't remember who it was, but somebody threw in a dunk. And all of a sudden, Gene Deckerhoff just went, whoop! And I had enough time to think to myself, did Gene just say whoop? And by the time I had that thought, he said, there it is. And I went, no way. Gene Deckerhoff just went full whoop. There it is. It was amazing.
Is it whoop or whoop? I didn't know what
I think it's
was.
whoop.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
With an M, yeah.
It is with an M, all right.
It is. You were right.
Look
Good
at
thing.
me.
See, look at that.
I'm pop culture
You're good
guy.
at a lot of stuff. See?
So he'll be on the call Sunday night, of course, when you listen to the game down the hall on 98 Rock, where you will hear myself and Ronnie Lane before and after the game. I'll tell you what, and I know, and this is, I said to you earlier, this is an example of how well the Buccaneers are playing right now. Because typically, you get too optimistic around here, people start texting in that you're going to jinx them.
No doubt.
Or usually, if we're leading up to a game in prime time, we're getting a million texts about the Bucs are terrible in prime time.
Just like it used to be, they can't win in below 32 degrees.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days?
Oh, they're playing a backup quarterback. There's all these reasons why, in a lot of times, Bucs fans, and some of them, and I know not everyone's the same, but some of them would be like, backup quarterback, prime time, we're in all the trouble. But this is how well the Bucs are playing right now. I literally don't remember hearing or reading a single text about them now to tweet
all week
long about the concern of those things. And I'll tell you this, I do. I believe that when the Chargers are at this point a significantly better football team than the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys have played decent. They've won 3 of 4 since that long losing streak.
Yes, they have.
Cooper Rush has them playing okay. One of Aaron's overreactions on Monday for Overreaction Monday was that he might be better, or the Dallas Cowboys are better with him than with Dak Prescott. I'm not sure I'm buying that necessarily, but they are playing better football.
They are.
However, when I just look at the matchup, CeeDee Lamb could get a little squirrely. Like, we better make sure we cover that guy. But I think
is his shoulder?
He's questionable.
Yes,
but I think he's going to go.
Yeah.
But to me, the matchup is about the Bucs just being able to control the pace of play, control the football. If they want it, time of possession. Like, I think, and this is what's so different about this year than last year, Rock, in my opinion. Think about last year. There were a lot of games where the Bucs, if they played a physical football team, they would be out physical. And now we're on the flip side. They're out physicaling other people. Maybe not so much on defense. I think you just get by on defense. But on offense,
but with Vita and Kancey in that middle,
they're physical. Sometimes in the back end, not as physical as you'd like, especially without Antoine Winfield Jr. and some of the issues back there. But when you have Jamel Dean and you have Zion McCollum healthy on the outside, it changes everything for that defense, and it allows them to be a lot more creative in the middle of the field. And I think playing one linebacker a lot recently with Levante and more defensive backs has been effective. Like we mentioned earlier, best scoring defense since their bye week, which is shocking.
That is incredible.
Considering what happened before that.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, very surprising. But to me, they should be able to roll over the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not saying they're going to win 40-17 because they may not have that kind of football game. I think I could see a lot of 10, 12, 14 play 8, 9, 10-minute drives where the Bucs just run the football down their throat.
Because I was getting I don't know what it was this week, but yesterday seeing them in the locker room, the hooting and hollering, the confidence, Bucky Irving talking to Lou Gedeke, just how confident they are made me feel a lot better. But I was starting to be like, okay, they've won 4 in a row. This is a big game in Dallas. Are they starting to get a little too cocky? They're getting so much recognition now. Orlovsky with the line and the running attack. They're one of the best in football. Pat McAfee, they can beat anybody right now. Baker Mayfield gets the award. Mike Evans gets the award for the week. And everybody, Liam Cohen is the hottest offensive coordinator, head coaching candidate. And I'm like, all right, this is an awful lot, man. I was feeling. But then seeing them, they've got the confidence. So I hope you're right.
Me too.
I hope you're right, Pat Donovan.
I mean, listen, to your point, after they went out and dominated the New York Giants 30-7 that following week, they got real close against the Carolina Panthers. You could argue they should have lost that game. I mean, you could say they got lucky. But listen, look across the league. The best teams in football, they've got games just like that against lesser opponents. This is the NFL. We see it every week. I like the way they're trending. Certainly last week, you can't. What do you take away from that game that's negative? I mean, not much.
They finally played
the 2 turnovers in a row, but even that, you bounce back as quickly as they did. Hard to complain about that football game without question. All right, when we return, who wants to win tickets to the Rely Quest Bowl?
Me.
You're disqualified, Rock. I bet you'll be there with a press credential.
Oh, I love that game. I love that game. It's always nice weather. Usually, there was one year when Paterno was here, and it was a driving rainstorm.
Do you remember the Paterno phone call with Big Dog?
Yes, yes. Poor Joe Paterno. He didn't know what was going on at that time.
He's like, I can't hear you, Mad Dog.
Yes, if you have the time, you can tell that story. That was unbelievable. But usually it's a gorgeous day. Gorgeous day.
Rely Quest Bowl tickets coming up on the other side. 888-546-4620. I hope you've been paying attention, including to the last couple seconds, because we may have just said it. We may have just talked about what happened between the Big Dog and Joe Paterno. You never know if that has something to do with it. It could. 888-546-4620. Your chance to win Rely Quest Bowl tickets. And if we get through that quick enough, we'll tell you an NFL team that could be making a big mistake coming up this weekend as the NFL feels as wide open as ever, and it could be even more wide open if this mistake bites them in the ass. We'll tell you about that and One of you will win ReliQuest Bowl tickets next.
WDAE
Traffic update.
from the Safe Touch Security Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Winn-Dixie.
Left lane blocked on northbound 34th Street near 54th Avenue North. Also, we're seeing delays on westbound I-4 just before downtown Tampa and 275. A crash in Largo being cleared on eastbound Roosevelt just before 49th Street and the Bayside Bridge. Left 2 lanes are blocked here. Get traffic info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Randy Myers.
Make your holidays merry and bright. Get the Winn-Dixie app and earn rewards your way this Christmas. Enjoy exclusive discounts, personalized deals on holiday essentials, and so much more. Download the app to shop, earn, and save on all your festive favorites. Visit Winn-Dixie.com for details.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Get even more savings this holiday season by becoming a Milo's Rewards member. Don't miss new member deals dropping every week, like $15 off a purchase of $50 or more on select Bounty, Charmin, and Puffs paper products. Plus, get free standard shipping with Silver Key status. Just one more way Lowe's is here to help you shop, save, and enjoy the holidays. Join for free today. Milo's Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change. Exclusions and more terms apply. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
Nothing says I love you like the gift of diamonds. A diamond pendant, a diamond anniversary band, a pair of diamond earrings. And around here, the holiday diamond destination is International Diamond Center. With our decades of experience, worldwide connections, and our legendary value, IDC is here to help make this Christmas the most unforgettable ever. Our showcases are filled with exquisite diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands. Can't miss gifts with lasting value and beauty. From elegant diamond stud earrings to stunning new creations from our exclusive world-class designers. And now through the end of December, you can enjoy 5 years, zero-interest financing on any holiday purchase. Also, if you're planning an engagement this holiday season, this special finance offer includes all our designer engagement rings. Say I love you louder than ever this holiday with the gift of diamonds from International Diamond Center. Get holiday store hours, directions, and more at shopidc.com.
I'm Keith, founder and owner of International Diamond Center. Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
Tampa, Clearwater, Lakeland, and Sarasota.
Team Tampa Bay is ready for an exciting ReliaQuest Bowl at Raymond James Stadium on New Year's Eve. This year, it's the Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Michigan Wolverines. Join the fun on Clearwater Beach as the teams enjoy the beach at the Hilton Clearwater Beach and Spa. See performances by the college marching bands, cheerleader tug of war, and more on Sunday, December 29th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sponsored by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, the Hilton Clearwater Beach, and iHeartRadio's 95.3 WDAE, Tampa Bay Sports Radio.
St. Pete Clearwater is still shining. The sun is out, the weather feels just right, and we're ready to welcome you back to the vibrant Gulf Coast. Feel the holiday cheer while cheering on college football teams on Sunday, December 29th at the ReliaQuest Bowl Beach Day at Hilton Clearwater Beach. Join Michigan and Alabama for a fun-filled day of live music, skydivers, and festive competitions. Save 30% or more on select hotels and attractions at StillShiningDeals.com. Brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, home to America's favorite beaches.
Keep the holiday soundtrack on everywhere. Open the free iHeartRadio app to take Mix 100.7 with you on the go.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Tap the holiday banner or just search holiday. Plus, you'll You'll see stations playing Christmas country, jazz, pop, rock, R&B, and more. Tons of playlists and even holiday podcasts. Let us handle the music. You've got enough to do. Open the iHeart app now. Free never sounded so good.
It's a December to remember at Wesley Chapel Lexus, the largest Lexus dealer on Florida's West Coast. Drive home a new Lexus RX, our best-selling SUV for over a decade. Or the new Lexus TX with all-new third row. Plus, you get our exclusive lifetime plan. Plenty of new Lexus inventory arriving daily. When you think Lexus, think Wesley Chapel Lexus. WesleyChapelLexus.com. Largest dealer on Florida's West Coast based on volume in 2021, 2022, 2023.
I just found out that Daisy Sour Cream launched French onion and sour cream dips. I love dips, and these new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are a game changer. They taste just as if they were homemade. They're made with Daisy Sour Cream and real herbs and spices. The new dips from Daisy Sour Cream are made with ingredients you can find in your kitchen and nothing more. So no matter what you're dipping, raise your dip game with Daisy Sour Cream, French Onion, and Ranch Sour Cream dips. Try them both today.
Can't get to a radio? Download the free iHeart Radio app and take WDAE anywhere you go. Presented by the law offices of Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
Another foggy start to your day in Tampa, then sunny with the high near 72 degrees. Humidity levels near 100%. This evening, mostly clear, the low around 46, not seeing any rain in the forecast. Get weather info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Annie Mac.
Staples has amazing deals on everything you need for the holidays. From custom holiday cards and photo gifts to laptops and gaming systems, even shipping solutions. And now save up to $350 on select computers. In-store only. Offer ends 12/28. Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples.
For more information about contests on this station, go to 953wdae.com/rules. Now, back to the Pat and Aaron Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
ReliaQuest Bowl. It's coming up on New Year's Eve. We've got Michigan. We've got Alabama. It is going to be a fantastic game. I will be on the call on the radio with my friend TJ Reeves. Can't wait for that
Still
as well.
early in the morning, noon, I believe,
love it,
kickoff.
yeah.
Get you ready. Boom.
Doing the Pat and Aaron Show that morning as well. So live here 6 to 9, then over to the stadium for the game. It's going to be a hell of a time. I'm glad I'm off on New Year's Day. It's going to be a hell of a time, though. But I said if you were listening to the last segment, if you were paying attention, or maybe if you remember the story, you're going to have a chance to win. We'll start with Josephina. She is in St. Pete. Josephina, good morning.
He is in.
Hello.
Josephina's a guy.
It is.
Oh, my bad, Josephina. How are you?
I'm a transgender female. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, Josephina, let me ask you this. What did Joe Paterno call the big dog Steve Dumig when he was on the show?
Well, he said he couldn't hear her. That's what he said.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
What did he call him? I just mentioned it in the last segment.
I don't know.
All right. Sorry, eliminated. 888-546-4. Somebody else must not have known, too, because they dropped off.
He did, but Paterno did. I do remember. He is right in one sense.
Oh, yeah.
Where Paterno was like, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
That part was definitely accurate. He did say, I can't hear you, but he called him something other than what he went by, the big dog Steve Dumig. Steve in Tampa, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
How are you?
I called him Mad Dog.
He did call him Mad Dog, Steve. Congratulations.
Boom, way to go, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
No problem.
All right, looking forward to going.
Yeah, you're going to be a happy dog. Going to see Michigan and Alabama. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait for it either, Steve. Hold on. Make sure Casey Warner gets your information so we can get you those tickets. And congrats, Steve.
I can't hear a word you're saying. What?
There you go.
Hey, Steve, would you have known the answer had I not mentioned it before the break?
Oh, yeah, man. They play that clip over and over again on your show, man. Yeah,
we have.
I couldn't believe it didn't get it, but hey, I jumped on the opportunity. I got it. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
No problem. Hold on so Casey can get your information. Again, congratulations. Enjoy yourself at the ReliaQuest Bowl. Don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure. I think we might have tickets again next week. Not 100% sure. I won't be here. It'll be up to Aaron to do that. We're both off on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We're both here on Monday, hopefully for Victory Monday after a beatdown of the Dallas Cowboys. And then I'm off for the rest of the week. Aaron will be back on Thursday and Friday, which I believe is the last Friday of the month. So you might just be back here a week from today, my friend.
If it's not the Aaron and Jake Jacobson show. You think they'll do a father and dad duo? Possibly,
we'll see. I might even make an appearance for Football Pick'em because I'll have to be back here to record Insiders as well. So I might make it for that final
Are you staying
hour.
in Tampa Bay?
Oh, yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Okay, good,
just,
good.
taking the vacation days.
Nice.
Because they don't roll over. So you got to get them in.
Right.
You got to get them in when you can. All right. Mentioned before the break, if we did get through the ReliaQuest Bowl ticket giveaway fast enough, that we would talk a little bit about a team that I think could be making a big mistake this weekend, Rock Riley. And that is the Kansas City Chiefs with Pat Mahomes. Now,
I thought you were going to say the Atlanta Falcons with Michael
Well,
Penix.
I'll tell you what. I think that's a mistake as well, Rock, and we can get into that.
There's
but
plenty to talk about.
When it comes to this,
yes.
Listen, Patrick Mahomes was a full participant in practice all week, so maybe I'm making too much of this. But we know he had a high ankle injury. I don't know if it was quite a sprain or whatever, but it was a high ankle thing.
Yes.
He's had ankle stuff in the past.
Yes.
So this isn't brand new for Patrick Mahomes. He's playing on Saturday. He's playing tomorrow. And then again on Wednesday, which is Christmas Day. So he's got 2 games coming up in 4 days.
I forgot about it is on Wednesday, Christmas Day. I forgot.
The only day the Chiefs don't play on this season is Tuesday. It's the only day they don't have a game this year. They've got a Friday game. They got Wednesday because of Christmas. They literally play on every day of the week except for Tuesday.
Boy, that is a quick turnaround, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's like playing on Sunday and Thursday. Right, it's the same turnaround as Sunday, but it is fast.
Yeah. Listen,
and to do it twice.
The Buccaneers, when they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, yes, Buccaneers were better. They got it done, but he was hobbled a little bit. I'm not kidding you. And they're going to need him down the stretch.
This is foolish, right?
I know it would make for better radio if I could be disagreeing with you, but when I heard what you had to say and I was looking at it, I would think the same way. You want him as close to 100% as you can get.
You're up 2 games for the 1 seed.
Mayfield said yesterday, because Mayfield's got an injury.
Yeah,
but he was
stinks.
like, But he was like, no one in the NFL right now is feeling good.
Yeah.
Everybody is banged up.
I'm not playing NFL football, Rocky, and I get up out of bed slow every morning.
And you're banged up right
You know
now
what I mean?
at the end of this.
I'm not 100%.
season? That's hysterical. But no, I know. I get it. I get it. But Reed yesterday was saying he's like, it's almost, he didn't use the word superhuman, but he wants to be out there and he can do it. So,
I get it. You're playing with fire. Because if he gets hurt, the AFC is even more wide open than it's ever been. And I know Buffalo looks like the best team in football right now. They do. All right, at least in the AFC for sure. They beat Kansas City already. We've seen them beat Kansas City in the regular season before. And the Chiefs are just that team, man. I don't care what they look like. I don't care how much they're not covering spreads and they're barely beating bad teams. They know how to win.
13-1.
I mean, come on.
I thought it was you, but now I remember it was Lee. He loves the story about Tom Moore, 85-year-old Tom Moore.
Oh,
85,
we don't practice EFT? No, that's me. That's me. That's my. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Lee likes it too.
I think
It's a great quote
this week. Tell the people what we're talking about.
Yeah, and so I'm sure some of our listeners have heard me say it 100 times, but I don't care. Some of you have not heard it.
This is great.
So years ago, when he was the offensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning.
This is Tom Moore, who's an offensive consultant with the Bucs now at 85 years old.
Just came out with the book alongside Rick Stroud, the players coach, which I don't know if you saw the video, but Aaron took a video of me at Army-Navy game, at the Army-Navy dinner.
I saw it.
And I'm double-fisted talking about how I want to read the book, but I don't really.
That was a great video. That was a great video at the table and stuff. Talking to this guy. But anyway, go ahead. That was good.
Tom Moore, who has the book with Rick Stroud, and I actually asked Rick if he asked him about this because it is one of my favorite quotes of all time. And apparently the story is that a reporter in Indianapolis asked him why Jim Sorgi, who of course was the backup quarterback at the time to Peyton Manning, wasn't getting more snaps in practice, just in case. Hey, why is it? And Tom Moore apparently looked at this guy and said, well, if 18 goes down, We're F, and we don't practice F, which that makes a lot of sense. You shouldn't practice F. I'm totally with Tom Moore on that one. But yeah, I think they're playing a dangerous game. And I know he was a full participant in practice all week. But practice is not the game. And I'm sure nobody's touching him in practice, even less than usual. They got the non-contact thing on anyways, but they'll brush by a guy, but not this week.
Former NFL defensive lineman told me that if a quarterback, if a running back, if he's got, like, say it's an ankle or whatever, they tackle him, they get on that pile, they give it an extra turn.
Oh, yeah, we've seen it.
A turn, man, it hurt it even more.
You're 100% right.
That's just how it goes.
That is how it goes. Hey, parents, want to remind you right now, you may have heard us talking about it a little bit yesterday, but we know this is the season of giving, but what if it could also be about saving too? Well, you're in luck this holiday break because Suncoast Credit Union has a special offer just for high school students. Right now, through the 31st, high school students can come into any Suncoast branch and open their first saving and debit card accounts, and Suncoast will match up to $100 on the spot. Visit suncoast.com/locations right now to find your nearest branch, and make sure to mention the Holiday Break 100. The offer ends on December 31st, so make sure you head in today. Suncoast Credit Union, we talk about them all the time. They're always doing great work for our community, and they do such great work for their members as well. And by the way, Bob Hyde from Suncoast will join us for Football Pick'em in just about half an hour. That's coming up. But coming up next, Matt Matera, PewterReport.com. Can the Bucs keep rolling on Sunday night in Dallas? in the NFL. How surprised were you by just how dominant that performance was?
Yeah, I picked the Bucs as well to win, but to me, the most surprising thing wasn't necessarily the Bucs scoring 40 points. I mean, we've seen them score 51, but it was super impressive to do it against a Chargers defense that was the top scoring defense in the league. But to me, in all honesty, was how the defense played in that second half, pitching a shutout.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been critical of the defense this year, and I think rightfully so, given a lot of their issues. But they are playing their best football, really the whole team, but the defense specifically has been playing their best football down the stretch. And sure, they've gone up against lesser opponents up until the Chargers last week, but they found a nice recipe with, having a great pass rush with Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey, and now a blitzing Levante David. And, they found a rhythm of, letting the offense be the catalyst of this team, jumping out to, some big leads that they benefited from. And then the defense just kind of not doing too much, just staying the course and getting some stops when needed. So by far the most impressive win of the year, in my opinion, when they, really took it to the Chargers last Sunday.
Matt, why? Why do you think the defense is playing better? Is it balls? Is it coming out of that bye and changing things up a little bit and doing what they do best? Or is it just the players sick of it and stepping up? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a combination of everything, but I think it was really important, the self-scouting that the Bucs coaching staff did during the bye week. I mean, they clearly identified some of their coverage issues because there was a lot of just blown coverages and players being wide open. And, Bowles every week will say it's miscommunication and things of that nature for why there's so many breakdowns. But I think that's really a cover-up for just more of, miscues by the players themselves. So the players have picked it up. But, they've turned to a couple different things on defense where sometimes they've implemented a 5-1 front where they'll have 5 defensive linemen and just Levante David at inside linebacker, or they'll bring a safety from the back and bring them into the box and have them be the other linebacker next to Levante David. So they've mixed up the coverages a lot. They play a ton of zone, and they've been a little more sound in their zone coverage, getting to the football, not trying to play as far off of, a lot of receivers down the field. And quite frankly, their tackling in the open field has been better, which has stalled a lot of drives as well. So it's a combination of everything, but I think, just a commitment to playing better, and the coaches and Todd Bowles obviously specifically coming up with a couple of different designs that's really worked.
So let me ask you this. After 159 this past weekend, Mike Evans now only needs 251 yards in the last 3 weeks to reach his 1,000th yard again this season. It's happening, right? At this point, there's no way he's getting stopped, right?
I think it has to. I mean, he's had over 100 receiving yards the last 2 games. They don't have to go up against Diggs in this matchup against the Cowboys because, unfortunately for him, he's out for the year and just had a surgery where it seems like he's going to be out for quite a while with his recovery. And then they play the Panthers the following week where he has torched really for his whole career, but again this season. And then a Saints team that likely has nothing to play for the last game of the season. No Marshawn Lattimore anymore, so able to take even more of an advantage. So I think in a perfect world, the Bucs find a way to clinch the division before that Saints game, and then wherever the number is for Mike Evans, they can kind of just pepper him until he gets 1,000 yards. That's a perfect world situation. But he's been on fire, as has Baker Mayfield and the whole Bucs offense. So hopefully it works. I'd be surprised if it didn't.
Matt, do you believe Liam Cohen, when I asked him yesterday about, is it hard to continue to focus on these games when you are now the hot name to be a head coach, the offensive coordinator? He said he doesn't have any time. He's really too busy. He hasn't even thought about it. Do you believe all of that? A little bit of that? What do you think?
I believe a majority of it for sure. I mean, he even used the example that, his kid was throwing up or whatever he said yesterday. And, he had to focus on that as well. I mean, I'm sure he's heard his name floated out out there. It's hard not to avoid those type of things. But I think he understands as well that as soon as you start getting cocky and you think you're the man and now you're the next big thing, that's when it kind of slacks off for you. So I think he's more than focused on the Bucs making the playoffs, continuing to do what they do on offense, which has been amazing really all season long, especially with the consistency of how they've been scoring. And then, let the chips fall where they may when the season's done. I mean, if the Bucs choke down the stretch over these last 3 games, then it kind of cools off a little bit with the head coaching candidacy. But the way it's been going, if he continues to do the job that he's been doing, he will, without a doubt, be a hot commodity, which is great news for Liam Cohen. Not so great for Bucs fans, though. Overall, you got to be happy for his career growth. But we shall see what's in store. It's definitely a huge storyline coming to the end of this season, and then for most of the offseason as well.
Matt, I feel like it's incredibly unfair to a rookie quarterback to look at him and say, hey, the season's falling apart. There's 3 games left. Come save the day for your football team. Did the Falcons make the right move?
I think the Falcons made the right move, especially coming off of that Raiders game where, Kirk Cousins played himself out of that starting job. That 4-game losing streak, what do you have, 8 interceptions or 6 interceptions?
He was bad.
No touchdowns. And then you're playing against the Raiders, and the Falcons played like absolute cowards in that game. They won, but they won based on just knowing that the Raiders couldn't move the ball on offense. So even when they had a little bit of a lead, they got super conservative. And, for the Bucs, that's great, and Bucs fans. But, you look at that Falcons, you have John Robinson, and Drake London's a pretty good wide receiver. Kyle Pitts is very talented, and yet they look so dull and boring. And like I said, they were scared. That's not an intimidating team by any means, even if they are to, upset the Commanders. I know they play the Giants this week, but the Commanders next week. So providing a spark, trying to see what they have with their quarterback of the future, it's a great start going up against the Giants. But then for his second career start to be against the Commanders with your playoff hopes on the line, that's a lot of pressure for a guy that's just beginning his career. But ultimately, I think it's the right move because they were just getting nothing from their offense and Kirk Cousins.
Matty, the number 4_ Matera is how you follow him on X. Find his great work at pewterreport.com. Matt, always a pleasure. I will talk to you in a couple weeks. Aaron will be here next week, but I will not. So we'll talk in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. If I don't hear from you, happy holidays to you, and thanks as always for having me on.
Yes.
Nice.
Happy holidays to you. Matt Matera always does a great job. Again, Matty, the number 4_ Matera to follow him on X. We will get into, I just asked Matt Matera, did the Falcons make the right move going to Michael Penix? Rock Riley and will debate that on the other side. But first, want to remind you, while we talk every Thursday to one of our great doctors with the Florida Orthopedic Institute about the injuries around the NFL, they don't concern you as much as your own injuries. And if you're dealing with an injury, you know that unlike a lot of people who have to travel hundreds or thousands of miles to find good or great orthopedic care, you have it right here in your own backyard with Florida Orthopedic Institute in partnership with Tampa General Hospital. And making an appointment, it's easy to do. So if you're dealing with an injury, if you've got lingering pain, stop waiting around for it to get better and get that world-class help that you can get right here in your own backyard. Making that appointment is so easy to do. Just call 800-FL-ORTHO or go to FloridaOrtho.com. When we return, was it a mistake to go to Michael Penix, or was it just what the Falcons needed?
And Aaron Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Football pick'em coming up in a few minutes with our friend Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union and also Jeff Attinella back in the building.
The Hall of Fame.
It's a good point. I don't mention it enough. I'm bad at introductions. I feel like, Aaron does a better job when we bring guests on the show of pumping the guest up and telling everybody who they are. And I'm just like, everyone's our friend and everyone knows everyone. And I should be better at that. You're right. Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame.
Jeff Attinella. And everyone does know Jeff Attinella, but still worthy of mentioning that he is in the Hall of Fame. So before we get to Kirk Cousins and what's going on with the Atlanta Falcons, Greg in Largo has a take on it. So we'll get his take, and then Rock Riley, you and I can discuss, because I don't care, because I don't want Atlanta to win. I want the Bucs to win the division.
I know.
I don't necessarily think it was a wise move.
They're 7-7. They're not.
Greg in Largo. Greg, good morning.
Good morning. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas, Greg.
Thank you. I just feel that Atlanta's making a big mistake. This is a get-right game for Cousins against the Giants. I mean, you're paying him a lot of money. He hasn't forgotten how to quarterback. He's in a slump. You got to go with the guy that you paid all this money to.
Greg, here's where I will disagree with you. And I just said I don't think it's necessarily a wise move, because I think you're putting way too much pressure on Michael Penix Jr. But when it comes to Kirk Cousins' play, I don't think it's just a slump. He physically is not the quarterback he was before the injury. He can't move around very well, and it's hurting him. So I think, you can make the argument that he's not playing well enough, even if you don't think it was a wise move.
Right, Pat, but this is a must-win. Now, say the Giants win. Now, next week, definitely put the kid in. But your season's on the line. To me, I don't know. I just feel that they should start Cousins. But anyway, I'd like to get to Tampa Bay real quick against Dallas. I'm worried about Lamb. He's been playing on a busted shoulder for 2 weeks, but he's still putting up the numbers. And we got to contend with their tight end, Ferguson. I think if we can control those two guys, it's going to be a heck of a game, and I think the Bucs could win it. And I'll hang up and listen. You guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, Greg. Okay, so Tony Dungy said that he was surprised. In all of his years, he's never seen putting in a rookie at this point in the season when you're playing for a playoff. Now, Gruden, who is on Barstool, was saying, well, going into this week, how come they still got the turnovers? How come you're not going with Penix? And he goes, listen, man, they know a lot more. They see every day in practice.
Yeah.
So if Penix was ready, they would have already put him in.
Now, Aaron does have a very good source close to the Atlanta Falcons that has said that he looks really good in practice.
Okay.
But a lot of guys look really good in practice.
So I listened to Raheem's press conference on the ride to work here today, and he was saying flat out, it's turnovers. He goes, he's turning over the football too much. And
but to expect a rookie to not do it?
No, I know. And do you know Michael Penix Jr. only had one series in all of the preseason.
Yeah.
Raheem did not give him some reps. So, it's going to be a lot.
I think they didn't want him to look too good in the preseason.
Do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think?
What the hell else aren't you giving him more reps?
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
So it is kind of surprising. And every question to Raheem, the entire press conference, it was like 20 minutes. Everything was on. How did Kirk take it? Is he your number two? Is this long range? Why is Penix? What is he doing? And he's like, look, he's been in all the meetings. He's been there. He's ready. He gives us a better chance, and I don't think he's going to turn it over. So it was a surprising move this late in the season. They're 7-7. They're right in it.
He's got to be the guy now. He's got it. Because you know what I don't want to do if I'm the Atlanta Falcons? And look, they can do whatever they want. I don't want them to ruin the kid, even though I can't root for him because he's in Atlanta colors. I'm a big Michael Penix guy. But in my opinion, the last thing you want to do is stick him out there and then pull him back off, right? Like, I just, to me, ride with a guy. Let him, when you draft a guy, once you put him in there, you leave him in there. And I know what happened in Carolina. What
if he looks bad
against
the Giants?
That's why it's just 3 games left.
And now another one. And then now you got the Commanders. You got to stay with him? And you got a chance? I think and the Bucs lose this game?
Listen, the Atlanta Falcons, this is why they shouldn't have done it at all. Because when it comes to Michael Penix, not for the football team, but when it comes to Michael Penix, every decision at this point should be about his long-term future. And if you stick him out there and you pull him back, I don't think it's good for the young man. And I go back, I bring this up a lot.
But they're in the playoff chase, Pat.
Then don't do it. Then stick with the veteran guy. Because the reality is, if one of them is going to get hot and do serious things for you in the playoffs, it's Kirk Cousins. It's not the rookie. Even Jaden Daniels, I don't believe in the playoffs because things go up a tick. And there'll be a time where I think it's too much for him. To me, it's not. And I love Jaden Daniels. But to me, it's about rookie quarterbacks. In those moments, I just don't think they're ready for it. I don't, and maybe this is going to be a guy that proves me wrong and does amazing things in the playoffs as a rookie quarterback. But to me, if you're worried about the playoffs, then don't put Michael Penix in there. But if you're worried about Michael Penix, then don't put him in there and then pull him back out. And I go back to this a lot. And one of the reasons I love Kurt Warner is a guy who grew up a New York Giants fan. Kurt Warner was the starting quarterback Eli Manning's rookie year. And they were going to let Eli sit for a while and watch Kurt, and that team was terrible. So because the team was terrible, Kurt didn't look very good. People thought he was done, and then he went on to Arizona and still go to play another Super Bowl, right? But when Eli finally got the nod, he was terrible. He was terrible. And they wanted to go back to Kurt. A lot of people don't know this. They wanted to go back to Kurt. And Kurt said, don't do that to that kid. It's not fair to him. If you're going to make him the guy and ride through the bumps because you should have expected it. He's a rookie quarterback. So don't do that to the kid. And I think you don't know, right? There's no way to prove, just like there's no way to prove if Carolina had stuck with Bryce Young that it would have not worked out the way that it has benching him. I think, to me, the reps would have been good for him. And he probably could still be where he is right now. And to me, what Kurt Warner did for Eli Manning was huge. And I think it would be a mistake. And again, I don't care because it's the Atlanta Falcons, and I hope they suck.
But no, you got to keep an eye on them. They're right there with the Bucs. They're 7-7. Bucs are 8-6, and it also changes the offensive line, the scheme, because the right tackle's the left tackle's now the right tackle.
That's a good point.
So you're doing that. It's a lot. But
and if you don't know what Rock's talking about, you got a lefty quarterback in Michael Penix. So now that right tackle is your blind side. So it is. It's a big adjustment. It's an adjustment for the receivers. It's adjustment for everyone.
It is.
And I think to just expect it to work out is not fair to that young man. And again, good. Because if he fails, good. Because again, I want the Bucs to win the division for a couple of reasons. A, because I'm a Bucs fan. And B, because I'll win $130 if they win the division.
Yeah.
I put $50 on the Buccaneers the day that they signed Kirk Cousins. And immediately Vegas made Atlanta the favorite in the division.
Oh, I know.
And I said, wait a second.
Everybody was hyping Atlanta so big.
Didn't we just do this last year? With Derek Carr? He became the quarterback in New Orleans, and all of a sudden they immediately became the NFC South favorite. And now we're doing it again with Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. And I said, no way. I'm not buying it. And listen, they've got talent there. And I don't think Kirk Cousins is a bad quarterback. But we've seen this story with Kirk before, and that's when he was healthy. Where not to this extent.
I understand.
We've never seen him play this poorly, but we've seen him start years really hot with that Vikings team, and then down the stretch, as the weather changed and you got into crucial football games, you got a worse Kirk Cousins. And that's why I said, 6 games ago, whatever it was, when the Bucs were 4-6 and they were a couple games ahead, I said I still think the Bucs can win this division because I don't expect great things from Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, and we've seen the Bucs do this before.
Well, it's coming right down to the wire. They have they got 2 easy games, and the Commanders, that's their hard game. And Raheem was also saying that Penix is not that much of a kid. He's sat and watched. He's been in every meeting. He's 25 years old.
I was going to say, he's an old man for a rookie.
He actually said that. He goes, well, I mean, he's a rookie, but he's an older man. He's an old man, as we call old man. No, the term now is old head, Pat.
Oh, I kind of like old head, actually.
Well, when I walk in on Fridays, like when I go to Bucs practice today, they're playing old school. And one of the young guys that's there is reporting, he's like, they call it Old Head Friday. And they play old like
Head
it's
Friday.
Yeah. And even when Brady was here, they would call Brady Old Head. That was his nickname, Old Head. So when somebody's older, Pat, you call him Old Head. That's the thing right now. So there you go. That is the thing, man.
Is Casey the most stoic human being alive in there, or is he frozen? He's got to be frozen, right?
Yeah, so I had to reboot the computer there. I'm still here, though.
All right. Can you grab Jeff Attinella? It looks like
Just got it.
he's
Here's
made
a Hall
it
of
in.
Famer.
He's made
Let's
it in.
bow down,
Hall
man.
of Famer Jeff Attinella. He will join us as well as our friend Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union. He will be our guest picker today. But speaking of Suncoast Credit Union, want to make sure, parents, we know this season it's all about giving, but it could be about saving too. Right now, you're lucky because the holiday break, during this holiday break, I should say, Suncoast Credit Union has a special offer for high school students. Right now, until the 31st, high school students can come into any Suncoast branch and open up their first savings and debit card accounts. And here's the good part. Suncoast is going to match them $100. So visit suncoast.com/locations to find your nearest branch and make sure to mention the Holiday Break 100. The offer ends on December 31st. So make sure you head in today. Get that savings account. Get that debit account started for the young person in your life. Get them on that responsible path. And by the way, they'll be banking with Suncoast Credit Union, so you know they'll learn a lot in the meantime. All right, when we return, it's time for football pick'em. Jeff Attinella in the building for the first time in like 6 years. Also, Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union. He is our guest picker. Rock Riley in for Aaron Jacobson. It's Football Friday on the Pat and Aaron Show.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho 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 ho.
With its new look and taste, Dasani is always crisp, clean, and refreshing. So, when thirst calls, answer with the new refreshed taste of Dasani water, now without salt. Learn more at Dasani.com.
The season is getting even more exciting at Tampa Bay Downs as they are open now 4 days a week. Catch the races every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And don't forget, admission is free on Wednesdays, and you can see the schedule at TampaBayDowns.com.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The sportsbook for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos. Fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million.
Rolling. So for Smack Apparel, we are absolutely cheering for Notre Dame. We do a lot of business at Notre Dame, so we are cheering for them. But I actually think Indiana is going to cover and keep it extremely interesting, especially at that 7.5. So give me Indiana to cover, and it really would not surprise me if Indiana went into South Bend and won this game.
Our guest picker today is Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union. Bob?
I'm calling the same upset. Defense wins championships. Indiana's got a big time D, and they're gonna pull off the upset on the road.
Indiana has only played one team with 8 wins or more, losing to Ohio State. They beat Purdue the next week 66-0. Quarterback play is improved by Notre Dame. 7.5 is too much.
It's a big number.
Yeah. I think Indiana will cover. I'm not saying they're going to win, but 7.5 is too much for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Rock. 7.5 is too much for me, too. Ian Beckles, Trisha Whitaker, all the homies back in Louisville, Kentucky that are still repping the Hoosiers. Got to go with Indiana here. It's really more of a hope than anything, but the 7.5 is a little high. I'm thinking they'll cover. Don't know if they'll win, but I think they'll cover.
Leave it to you to make it about Trisha Whitaker, Casey Warner. Listen, we'll see. I don't have Aaron's picks yet, so we'll see if he wants to be on an island, because he would be on an island if he picks Notre Dame. I am also going with the Fighting Ian Beckles of Indiana in this one. We'll move on to tomorrow, where the first game of the afternoon, the first of 3 college football playoff games, is SMU. I like to call them SMU. SMU at Penn State. Penn State, an even bigger favorite than Notre Dame. They are 8.5-point favorites, Jeff Attinella.
So I've gone back and forth in this game a lot because there's a lot of different things at play. Obviously, SMU going to the cold. Penn State, James Franklin, not great in big games. And I do think that SMU is probably the 3rd best team that Penn State's played all season, which I think is getting pretty overlooked. All that being said, I'm going to take Penn State to cover this game. I think it's close throughout, and then maybe like a late field goal pushes it to 10. But I think it's going to be a good close game, but ultimately I think Penn State ends up covering at home.
Bob Hyde?
I'm with Jeff once again.
I don't know. I don't know if you're going to copy me this much. It's dangerous territory.
Yeah. He's not done well. You're 500, though, Jeff. You're 500.
I'm back, baby.
Penn State will cover. You're right. They're home. It's gonna be cold. Happy Valley has never hosted a playoff game before. The place is gonna be rocking. And who is gonna cover Tyler Warren? Who's gonna do it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question, Rock.
I'm with you guys. SMU does have a dangerous quarterback. Yes, it's cold. The Nittany Lions have a very good defense, and the fact that it is in Happy Valley, I'm going with you two guys, man.
Yeah, I mean, nothing different here that was already said. I believe SMU kind of showed us a preview last week in that ACC championship. They really weren't up for it against a Clemson team that's been off and on all year. And, Happy Valley, Penn State, playoff time, that's a football town right there. There's no way they come in and cover that spread.
That's what scares me. That's what scares me, is that it's at Penn State. I think otherwise I'd probably go SMU to cover. I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
James Franklin's such a great guy.
We'll see what Aaron says. I'm going on the island. I'm taking SMU. I'm taking SMU to cover. I don't know that they're going to win, but I'm going to say they're going to find a way to cover in a big one. All right, we'll move on to number 12, Clemson. Usually we love rooting for underdogs. I don't know how many people will be rooting for the Tigers when they go to Texas to take on the Longhorns. Texas, 11.5-point home favorites. That's a big spread, Jeff Attinella.
That's a real big spread. And Texas hasn't exactly been blowing good teams out, but I don't think Clemson's very good. I think that they had those 3 losses. I think they got a little bit fortunate to get in that ACC title game. Give me Texas at home. I think the only team that they can't beat is Georgia, and I think that they handle Clemson pretty easily.
All right, so I finally depart from Jeff.
Smart.
11.5, Pat. You're right. That's a lot of points. They're not covering. They're not covering. Their Quinn Ewers is a little affected. He's not 100%. That's definitely gonna play it. And I think Clemson's offense shows up. I think they show up and have a good game.
Clemson is the lowest seed in the college football playoff. Now, Texas has a dominant defense. Yes, it's at Texas. Texas has only had 1 touchdown in the last 6 quarters.
That's crazy.
For me, 11.5, that's too much. So I don't know if Clemson's going to win, but I'm going against Jeff Attinella, and I'm with you, Big Bob.
Yeah, I got to go on those same lines right there, man. 11.5 is just too big for a Clemson team that's been there before. I mean, you got a coach in Dabo Swinney that's won a college football playoff. Texas was there last year, but they ended up getting beat by Washington. So I got to go with Rock here. Clemson's going to find a way to cover this one for sure. They're made for these kind of games, even on the road at Texas. And I don't know if they'll win, but they'll cover for sure.
I will not leave you on that island, Jeff Atnella. I will not leave you on that island. I think Texas, I don't know how far they're going to go. I think they're significantly better than Clemson. I think you're right. I think Clemson's maybe the luckiest team to be in this playoff, and they do, like you said, Rock, have the lowest seed. I'm going to go with the Longhorns. Massive number, but I'm going to go with the Longhorns to cover on this one. We'll move on to the final college football playoff game of the weekend, potentially the most, I don't want to say impressive, intriguing college football game of the weekend for me. Tennessee at Ohio State. Ohio State, of course, they've been kind of just lingering and just pouting about their loss to Michigan for about a month. So you know they're going to be angry. Are they going to have enough to cover 7.5 points against Tennessee, Jeff Atnella?
This is a tough one. I'm not really sure because you don't know what Ohio State's going to show up. Is it the Ohio State that's on a rampage because they lost to Michigan and everyone's been talking a lot of smack? Or is it the Ohio State that played against Michigan that did not look very good? On the other side, I don't think Tennessee has been that impressive this year. I'm going to go with Tennessee just because of that half point. I think they keep it within a touchdown. But on the flip side, it honestly would not surprise me if Ohio State came out and just blew them out. But I'm going to take Tennessee in terms of pick 'em.
All right, I got the angry Ohio State team showing up. They're covering that 7.5 at home. Again, another cold weather environment against a Southern team. It's going to be a tough ground game. Ohio State great in the red zone. They're covering.
Noted, he's wearing a Florida shirt when he's picking Ohio State over Tennessee.
So I'm trying to make headway here at the station, and two of the bosses aren't going to like this. Nick Wise, big Michigan guy.
You just got a Saturday show, Rock.
I know, and Tommy Chuck is a big Tennessee guy.
That's right.
Look, the Vols have had 3 weeks of rest. They need their running back, Dylan Thompson. But Ohio State, man, that loss to Michigan, Edgar Ryan Day, I know 7.5. I'm sorry, bosses. I want to do more here, but I'm going with Ohio State, man.
You know what's funny? Nick Wise hates SEC fans so much. He's kind of rooting for Ohio State. I don't know how. I can't bring myself to do it.
That is impossible.
Somehow that's where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I can bring myself to do it because Tennessee is Kentucky's rival. Can't root for Tennessee, and I'll tell you why Ohio State's going to win. 3 factors here. They're at the Horseshoe. They're coming off the Michigan loss. And not only that, but I firmly believe that Ryan Day is coaching for his job in this game. If Ohio State loses this game, you can say goodbye to Ryan Day. He's got to be able to win these big games. He's lost to Michigan 4 straight times. So how do you make up for it? You go out there and you get a playoff win or 2, maybe. Ohio State takes this one and covers.
He might need to win it all. He might need to win it all. You lose to Michigan 4 times in a row, and I'll tell you what, I'm gonna root for him to fail, and I'm gonna root for him to get fired because I'm not that. I root for my conference guy.
You don't like his beard?
I've never really
Is that
understood that. No, I don't like Ohio State. I never have. I never will. And I'll tell you what, not just for Tommy Chuck, but also my brother, Ronnie Night Train Lane. I want a happy Ronnie Night Train Lane on Sunday night while we're staying up late watching the Bucs and Cowboys. I'm going to take the Tennessee Volunteers in this one to at least cover. I think they actually might win. I hope they do because I hate Ohio State. We'll move on to the NFL, although 2 games tomorrow along with those college football playoff games. Normally, you know me, I'm an NFL guy first, but much more interested in the college football playoff, especially the first real one tomorrow. It's going to be huge, but that's why we have multiple televisions, my friends. And Houston will go to Kansas City to take on a Kansas City Chiefs team that somehow, despite getting a high ankle injury, Patrick Mahomes was a full participant in practice all week. 2 days ago, when it seemed like he may not go, this spread, I believe, was like, what was it, -2 for, we did a guess that spread, and I think it was -2 for Houston. It is now -3.5 for the Kansas City Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes will go.
Man, it would have been nice to get that line before that news came out.
I thought of that.
Yeah, I know, right? But for me, I'm going to go with Kansas City in this one. I'm just not high on Houston. I don't think that they're very good. I think Kansas City's defense is going to cause a lot of problems for Houston in this one, especially in Kansas City. They have a chance to lock up that 1 seed. So give me Kansas City to win at home and cover the points.
Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union is our guest picker today.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. I'm going the same as Jeff on that one. Kansas City is home. They're battle-tested. They've got a tremendous defense. Mahomes is healthy. He's a full participant. He's a warrior. I'm going to call Isaiah Pacheco having a big game as well. Kansas City at home.
It's good to have him back for the Chiefs, that's for sure.
Bob and Jeff Fatanella, I am with you. Mahomes is playing. They don't lose at the end. They're 13-1. Houston, good D against the Dolphins. It was against the Dolphins. I am with my guys here today.
I told Pat Donovan going into this season that after the Houston Texans signed Joe Mixon, that they would be one of the favorites in the AFC. And I'm still waiting on that to happen. They've looked not as good as I thought they were going to be this year. They've looked worse than they were last year. But I'll tell you what, Kansas City is kind of battered. Patrick Mahomes did practice in full, but I still think that there still could be some injury there. I know they've played it close a lot this year in some of these tougher games, and I think C.J. Stroud comes up big in this one. Give me Houston on the road to keep it within a field goal, I think.
Casey Warner, I will leave you on that island.
Yeah.
I will leave you on that island, my friend.
You're by yourself today, buddy.
Hollywood Brown's back for the Chiefs. That's big.
Yeah, we'll see what Aaron picks when he gets his picks to me. But yeah, for now you are on the island. I will take the Kansas City Chiefs in this one, especially with Pat Mahomes going. Again, I think it's dangerous. I wouldn't put him out there if I was the Chiefs.
Either.
Playing a few days later on Christmas Day, they're playing with fire. He dings that ankle up worse, and it hurts their chances come playoff time dramatically. All right, we'll go to another great AFC battle, the Pittsburgh and a divisional battle. This time, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they travel to Baltimore, where the Ravens are 6.5-point home favorites. It's kind of a big number for a divisional battle, Jeff Atnella.
Yeah, I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this one. For me, until I see Lamar Jackson beat Mike Tomlin, I can't pick Baltimore to cover points against Pittsburgh. So just give me the Steelers, and we'll see what happens if he's able to do it.
Bob Hyde?
So if you watch the game, you're going to see Lamar beat Mike Tomlin. I'm calling it. Yeah, Baltimore's at home. You know, Lamar got dinged up last time. They played the Steelers. He's a champion. So we're gonna see Lamar ball out. They're gonna win straight up. And Steelers do have a good D, but yep, I'm going with Baltimore at home.
You know what? Just listening to Bob, he's so confident. You changed my mind, Bob. I am biased. Jeff, I'm sorry, man.
I got to do a better job of selling my picks.
Yeah. No. You know why? Because the Steelers beat the Ravens in Week 11. It was an 18-16 game. So to win 2 times this year, and it is in Baltimore and Lamar. Bob, you and me are on the same wavelength on this one, buddy.
Yeah, and I'm on that same wavelength as well. I mean, you got the standings here. It's Pittsburgh 10-4. They've already clinched a playoff spot, but the division's still up for grabs. Baltimore at 9-5. With a win here, they'd be neck and neck. Pittsburgh would still have the tiebreaker because of their conference record, but Pittsburgh does not have George Pickens this week. He's a catalyst in that offense that likes to run a lot. I don't think there's going to be very many big plays for that Pittsburgh offense, and you know Lamar Jackson can make them. Give me the Baltimore Ravens.
That's a great point about Pickens, Casey Warner. But what did you say the final score was the last time, Rock Riley?
18-16.
Because that's what these teams do. That's what the Steelers and the Ravens do. No way. The spread is way too big in this one. I will not leave you on that island, Jeff Atnella. I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one to cover. I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore pulls it out. I'm very high on Baltimore, but I just think these two teams, when they get together, it's always close, and it will be again on Sunday. Actually, no, tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow. Wow, what a week. What a weekend we have in front of us. Saturday. And then the Bucs being on Sunday night gives us all day to watch football on Sunday. I don't even have to be here until like 5 o'clock for that game. I mean, it's going to be a wonderful Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, we'll move to Sunday's games. Probably the least intriguing game on Football Pick'em this week. There was a handful that I was going back and forth between like not so great games that we had to slide in here. The one I chose is Arizona at Carolina, where suddenly they're playing competitive football. Although the Dallas Cowboys kind of smacked them around last week. The Cardinals come in as 4.5-point road favorites, Jeff Atnella.
All right, now that I know that my enthusiasm is going to influence Rock over there, give me the Carolina Panthers to cover this game at home. I think that Dallas's defense was a little bit too much for them last week. I don't think Arizona has a defense. Kyler Murray doesn't like the cold. Give me the Carolina Panthers to cover those 4.5 points. Big game. Huge game.
Wow.
Give me the Panthers.
Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union. He's our guest picker today.
Jeff might be influencing Rock, but he's not going to influence me.
I love it.
It's a dog of a game. You're right, Pat. I think it's a field goal game. I think the Cards win, but they're not covering the 4.5 point spread.
So Carolina,
you guys
we're
are
on the same
together. All
page.
right.
Jeff,
He just doesn't think they're going to win.
Jeff, you did a hell of a job, man. You did a hell of a job. But you know what, Jeff? I'm going against you, man. I'm going against you. Cards, they need this for the NFC West or the wild card. Carolina was favored the first time in 2 years. And then they ended up losing with the Cowboys at home. And Dave Canales is trying to say, no, Jeff, great pitch, but I'm going against you, buddy. Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, got to go with Arizona in this one. Setting up for a big matchup next Saturday. The Rams-Cardinals has been flexed to Saturday night at 8. And that's gonna be for the NFC West possibly. And with that game coming up, Arizona has no choice but to win this one. I believe they're going to be ready. Kyler Murray's going to be ready. Expect a big game from Marvin Harrison Jr., setting them up for a division showdown. Arizona's going to cover.
Rock, you said it. I think the importance of this game for Arizona is the difference. I will take the Cardinals to cover as well, although I've picked against them all year long, and they cover every time I pick against them. And then I finally picked for them a couple times, and they didn't cover either one. So if that tells you anything, they won't cover on Sunday. Probably, maybe the best game of the weekend, the Philadelphia Eagles. They go to Washington, where the Commanders are still trying to hang on to a wild card spot, while the Eagles are trying to hang on to the NFC East. And really, I think the Eagles might be playing as well as anybody in the NFC right now. They go into Washington as 3.5-point road favorites, Jeff Attinella.
For me, it's just, you got to go to Philadelphia in this one. I don't think Washington's playing their best ball right now, and Philadelphia seems to be hitting their stride. They're really firing on all cylinders. So I know the 3.5, it might be a field goal game, but I just think Philadelphia goes into Washington and handles their business and covers this one actually pretty easily.
Bob Hyde?
I think that Commanders are going to pull off the upset here.
Wow.
You know, like we just talked about, they do have that wild card spot that they're really pushing for. Eagles a little beat up, coming off a really, really tough game against the Steelers. Tough to bounce back from it. I think Jaden Daniels is a big game, and Washington pulls off the upset.
You know what, man? The Commanders have Lattimore now. They also have, looks like, Jonathan Allen. But you know what, man? Philadelphia, and it's weird.
They got Saquon Barkley.
They got Saquon Barkley, and they passed good last week. So give me the Beagles, the Eagles.
All right, so I'm going to have to agree with you there, Rock. It's very crowded at the top of the NFC. 3 12-2 teams. Lions are hurt. Vikings on the come up. The Eagles got to assert themselves as that first round bye team. They got to get that home field advantage, and I think they're going to do it. Give me Philadelphia to cover. It's their time at the end of the season.
Yeah, I grew up a New York Giants fan, so if you know anything about me, I hate the Philadelphia Eagles, but I love the way Howie Roseman's built this team. I think they're a really good football team. They're good on the offensive line. We talked about how important that was earlier, Rock, and now they have Saquon Barkley. Saquon proved he was special behind an awful offensive line in New York. You're seeing the things he's doing. Challenging for, looks like he probably won't get the record, but in the conversation for the most rushing yards ever, it's kind of fallen off in the last couple of games to where that looks like it's not going to happen. But still, just the fact that he's having the conversation, he's having a special year, and I think it continues with a victory and a cover on Sunday. We'll go to the last game of this portion of Pick'em. We've changed things up here. We've changed the clock a little bit. Not that you need to know all of that, but we're picking all 9 games to start. All other 9 games to start. And then, of course, we'll come back after the break with the Buccaneers and Dallas. But first, the last one before the break, the Minnesota Vikings. Like Casey just mentioned, 12-2. They go in to take on the Seattle Seahawks as 2.5-point road favorites, Jeff Attinella.
So I watch a lot of football, right, as we all do. As everybody does. I watch a lot of football.
I thought you were only soccer.
But last week was the first time that I watched Seattle actually play a full football game. And they were horrible. They were awful. I didn't know they were that bad.
They're not that bad.
They look terrible. So given what I watched last week, thinking that in Seattle, I really thought that the home environment was going to do them a solid against the Packers, and it didn't matter at all. I'm going to take Minnesota. If Minnesota wins out, they're the 1 seed in the NFC. They have so much to play for. Geno Smith, he's not doing it for me. I've only watched him play 1 week, but it was not convincing at all. So give me Minnesota to cover the points. And now I don't think Seattle has any type of home field advantage. I don't believe in it anymore.
Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union.
Yep, Jeff, I'm with you. Minnesota with the win. They're covering for sure. You know, the quarterback play is strongly in their favor. Sam Darnold's playing well. Geno Smith's kind of banged up. Minnesota's got the better defense. That's an easy one.
It is a must-win for Seattle.
Yeah.
Jeff, your pitch was really good, but I was going to be with you anyway. And the same thing with Bob. Sam Darnold, Minnesota's feeling it. Geno Smith is banged up. Seattle, forget about it, man. Give me the Minnesota. Minnesota.
Lions are 12-2. Minnesota's 12-2. Lions are dinged up. Geno Smith is dinged up for the Seahawks. I think Minnesota takes full advantage of this situation they're currently in. They win on the road, and they could even be in first place when it's all said and done at the end of the night.
I can just about guarantee you should put your money on Seattle, and here's why. I, like the rest of you gentlemen, am taking the Minnesota Vikings. Every time. Almost every time, we all got Atlanta this last week, unfortunately. But almost every time that all of us pick the same team in a game, we get it wrong. It's insane how often we all get it wrong. So don't be surprised if Seattle, I don't know if I'd want to put money on it, but don't be surprised if Seattle pulls it out on Sunday. We'll get to Sunday Night Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Backup quarterback, prime time, all the things Bucs fans are afraid of. Will they take care of business in Dallas? Football pick'em back here on the Pat Aaron Show. And we'll finish this off with the most important game to most of you listening. We know that there's some out-of-towners around, but hey, the Bucs game's the most important game, whether you like it or not. And they go into Dallas for Sunday Night Football. And I mentioned earlier, Jeff and Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union. He's with us today as our guest picker. Of course, Jeff Attinella from Smack Apparel, who's always with us for Pick'em. I mentioned earlier that, you know, a lot of Bucs fans, a lot of years, a lot of weeks, we get texts. Oh, no, backup quarterback. Oh, no, Sunday Night Football or prime time. By the way, Tommy Chuck just peeked in the room.
Yeah.
I completely forgot to mention that
about Tennessee?
He texted breaking news to me just a little while ago. He said, everybody except for Pat is fired. Even the client. Tell Bob he's fired too. Go Vols. So you're all fired except for me.
I picked Tennessee.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Just try to keep his job.
Yeah, you did. All right. There you go.
I can't get fired from a job that isn't actually a job.
He just had veins popping out of his neck. He was probably, oh my God.
All right. So Buccaneers go in. And again, a lot of times we get a lot of reaction from people nervous about backup quarterbacks, nervous about primetime games. I've seen very little of that this week on the Bartow Ford DA text line, on social media. That's how well the Bucs are playing. The people are starting to get confident regardless of the circumstance. But the circumstance is the Bucs heading into Dallas as road favorites, 3.5-point road favorites. Jeff Attinella. We know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I do it every week, right? Every single week. It's Bucs cover, Bucs win, easy pick. But when Bucs fans start to get confident, that's when it starts to get a little bit scary, right? As a Bucs fan, there's a history of that going on. But I do think Dallas is much improved. I love that the game is on primetime because I think that, for this Buccaneers team, you're not going to have them not show up for this one because it is in prime time. All the bright lights will be on them, so it's a good opportunity for them in Dallas, which is like the mecca of football in the NFL. So I like the Bucs to win. I like the Bucs to cover. It is.
See, he's
Dallas Stadium.
How is it not Lambeau Field?
All right, whatever.
It's Lambeau Field, and I don't like the Packers, but that is the mecca. Like, come on.
All right.
The Jerry Dome?
Dallas Cowboys are the most talked about team in the NFL.
Well, that's true.
It is the most talked about stadium in the NFL.
They're Super Bowl contenders every year, and they never really are.
But is it the most talked about? Everything about them is the most talked about thing in the
Giants fandom is coming out. That's what it is.
Anyway,
I'm a Bucs fan now, but listen.
No, I know you are. But
listen.
No, Jeff's making good points. Pat.
It's a great building, and Jerry Jones is an interesting owner with all the money in the world. And yes, they are the most talked about team in the NFL, even when they don't deserve it. But when you talk about Mecca, it's got to be Lambeau Field.
You don't think that the Dallas Cowboys are the Mecca of the NFL?
No, not at all.
All right. Anyways, Bucs win, Bucs cover.
Mecca, Lecca,
You
High,
had
Mecca,
a
High,
good
me ho.
pitch going.
Anyway, Bucs
Jeff,
win, Bucs cover.
Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union. He's been our guest picker today.
This is tough. I have similar concerns. Prime time is like kryptonite for the Bucs. Consistency is difficult for the Bucs. Overconfidence is tough for them. But
you want people to come to the credit union, right?
But Bucky Irving's on fire. Baker Mayfield's on fire. Mike Evans is on fire.
Don't forget those big boys
Liam
up front.
Cohen's on fire. Bucs win, and they cover.
There we go.
Yeah, these two guys with the points on the offense and how good they're doing right now. Because really, when you look at Dallas, they beat the Commanders 1 month ago. The Cowboys have won 3 of 4. They lost this last one to the Bengals. That was a close game. So Dallas is playing pretty good football. But and I was worried about this, but in that locker room yesterday, and I'm telling you, seeing the offensive guys, Bucky Irvin, the offensive linemen, the defense in that back corner of the locker room,
little swag,
hooting and hollering and feeling so good. They're really feeling confident. So I think they're going to be okay. I think the Buccaneers are going to take this one. I do.
Yeah, I believe the Buccaneers full faith and confidence in them on Sunday Night Football, even though it's prime time, even though it's on the road at Jerry's World. That run game is looking solid. The Cowboys struggle against the run, and Trayvon Diggs, their number 1 corner, is out. Expect Mike Evans to have another big game. Buccaneers, raise the flags, baby. Fire the cannons. They're covering and winning this one.
Listen, I won't be surprised, and I'm not going to guarantee anything. I am going to pick the Bucs to cover. I'll guarantee that. Well, I don't guarantee it, but I'm going to pick the Bucs to cover. I won't be surprised if this looks a lot like last Sunday against the Chargers. First of all, the Chargers are a better football team than the Dallas Cowboys this season. They definitely have a better defense than the Dallas Cowboys this season. They're the best scoring defense in the NFL going into that game against the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers, I mean, they scored 30 unanswered points against the Los Angeles Chargers. Only the Indianapolis Colts and the Carolina Panthers have given up more yards per game on the ground than the Dallas Cowboys. Do not be surprised if we see a lot of Bucky Irving, a lot of Rachaad White, maybe even some Sean Tucker. But I think that offensive line that is becoming the best offensive line in football, if it's not already, despite how young they are, I think they go in there and they're road graders on Sunday night. I think they go in there and they control the time of possession. Here's why I don't think it'll be 40-17, because I think the Bucs are going to have, I said to Rock earlier, a lot of 8, 9, 10, 12 play drives, a lot of 9, 10-minute drives. I think they control the pace of play. They control the football. They control the time of possession. And I think they walk out winning handily. I do.
That's a hell of a pitch.
That's a take.
You
that
know
is
what?
a take right there.
That's the take of the day. They're playing in the Mecca, though.
That is a take right there. Here's what I'll say about that. I think that with the Chargers, and listen, I pick the Bucs every single week. So I am a Bucs fan. I am a homer. I think with the Bucs, the Bucs caught the Chargers at a really good time. They got them on. They had the Broncos on a Thursday. They came off of a tough loss against the Chiefs, so it was kind of sandwiched in between two divisional games. So I think the Bucs really caught the Chargers at a good time for that type of blowout game.
For sure.
And
listen, you have to, if you're going to beat a good football team by that margin, you have to catch them at the right time.
You have to catch them at the right time. And I think that, what worries me about this game a little bit is Dallas is playing good ball. They should have beaten the Bengals. They should have won that game. They threw that game away. Their defense is looking solid. And, it's kind of like the Bucs. We want to see them be a dominant team, put those performances together back to back. And all the conversations about, they're in the conversations with the best teams in the NFC. We have to see them do it 2 weeks in a row. And we have to see them do it consistently going into the playoffs. And you see the good teams do that. You see the Philadelphia Eagles do that. You're starting to see the Vikings do that. The Lions have done that before they got all banged up. So if we want to be in that conversation, if they come out and do what you said, Pat, then I think they are firmly in that conversation in the NFC. But for me, we have to see it first. We have to see it first on the field.
I think they're in the conversation. I still think they're a year away from being a Super Bowl caliber team. I think there's a couple of things they need to clean up, especially outside pass rush. But as young as they are, they're so competitive. I love the attitude in that locker room. They don't make a lot of mistakes for a young football team. I just don't think they have quite enough to win it all this season. But they've put together such a strong roster that it's pretty obvious where the holes are now. And this offseason, I think they may be able to make a couple of moves to make themselves not just contenders, but Super Bowl favorites heading into next season. I just think this year they're about a year early, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be doing pre and post game for a Super Bowl this year, but I don't know that I feel that.
See, this late in the year, I don't go about the young thing now. Like everybody, you're this far in, Pat, the season, so whether or not, they're young, they're not even rookies. Like talking to Graham Barton, and he's like, I'm not a rookie anymore. So it's just, I'm still a little leery on the defense. Like, you got to show me more consistently. The offense is not going to, all of a sudden, Baker Mayfield's not going to lose it. Liam Cohen is he's got him in a good spot. Mike Evans is pretty healthy now with that hamstring and what
we saw his first ever hurdle.
How about that? No, that was good. That was good. And the running attack is good. The offensive line is good. So the offense has got it. It's a defense still. It's got to prove it to me, Yeah,
absolutely.
That's where I'm at.
And I mean, we talk about backup quarterbacks, but Cooper Rush is actually playing pretty consistent football. He's not turning the ball over. He's getting his passes off. So, I mean, I think it is going to be a bigger test than the Chargers were last week, as crazy as that sounds, because the Chargers just played a good game versus Denver, and they look like a playoff team. But I do think this Dallas game is going to be a pretty big test, back-to-back road games. But I'm excited to watch Baker in primetime. It's fun. It's fun having a quarterback and having a team.
He's a Texas guy going back, man.
It's going to be fun.
High school championship game in Dallas. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's fun having a quarterback that's so loved by the entire country. It seems like everybody really loves to cheer.
How could you not for the underdog now?
Yeah,
they
loves to play, right? He loves to play. It's infectious watching him out there.
And we get to watch him in prime time on a Sunday night. Hopefully that leaves some day, because Saturdays are jam-packed. Hopefully Sunday I can get some Christmas shopping, some holiday shopping done to watch the Bucs in prime time.
Get going, Jeff.
I get a couple ideas for you. Maybe you want to buy the wife or someone in your family a new Mazda. You could do that. It'd be very easy to do. And right now, by the way,
if you're listening, wife. If you're listening, wife.
Hey, here's what I can promise you. It'll be the best car buying experience of your life if you do. You know, you've heard me talking about it before. I absolutely love my Mazda 3. Aaron loved my Mazda 3 so much, he went and got himself one about a month ago. He's leasing his. I bought mine, but whether you're leasing or buying, it really will be the best car buying or leasing experience of your life because of the folks at Mazda of Clearwater. Check them out. And by the way, right now, you can drive a new Mazda for 90 days with no payments, and with interest rates on the way down, you can actually get many of their models at 0% financing. Check them out. You can go online to MazdaofClearwater.com. I always suggest go in person. Find out why I said it's the best car buying experience you will ever experience. They're on US 19, just south of Roosevelt and East Bay Drive, right here in Clearwater. Or again, you could go online to MazdaofClearwater.com. We'll wrap this show up. The Blender coming up next on the Pat and Aaron Show. Bob Hyde for being our guest picker. Thank you for coming and hanging out today. It has been a blast.
Appreciate
that.
You
did a great job. You did a great job. We have some guest pickers that we're not so sure about. I think, listen, our guest pickers are not having a good year. I think you turn it around for them today, Bob. I have a lot of confidence in your picks. All right, we'll wrap this show up on the other side. We'll wrap this week up on the other side. It's the Blender coming up next on the Pat and Aaron Show. Rock Riley in for Aaron Jacobson on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
WDAE traffic update. Rivard Buick GMC knows the holiday season is upon us, and what better way to celebrate this season and cooler weather than a brand new vehicle at the absolute best price around? While other dealers are increasing prices, Rivard is staying true to their commitment to massive discounts and insane inventory, with rates as low as 0% and discounts like up to $14,000 off new Sierras and up to $12,000 off Yukons. Visit RivardBuickGMC.com today. Rivard Buick GMC, the #2 GMC dealer in the country. GMC, we are professional grade.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho, 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 ho.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Team Tampa Bay is ready for an exciting ReliaQuest Bowl at Raymond James Stadium on New Year's Eve. This year, it's the Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Michigan Wolverines. Join the fun as the teams enjoy Clearwater Beach at the Hilton Clearwater Beach and Spa. See performances by the college marching bands, a cheerleader tug of war, and more on Sunday, December 29 from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sponsored by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, St. Pete Clearwater International Airport, Allegiant Airlines, City of Clearwater, and iHeartRadio's 95.3 WDAE, Tampa Bay Sports Radio.
Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage.
Another foggy start to your day in Tampa, then sunny with the high near 72 degrees. Humidity levels near 100%. This evening, mostly clear, the low around 46, not seeing any rain in the forecast. Get weather info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Annie Mac.
Macy's Backstage has amazing deals on the holidays' most fun gifts, all for under $15. Get low prices every day on unique finds before they're gone. In-store only at Macy's Backstage today. Find a location near you at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily.
With its new look and taste, Dasani is always crisp, clean, and refreshing. So, when thirst calls, answer with the new refreshed taste of Dasani water, now without salt. Learn more at Dasani.com.
Some things in life you can just rely on, like the faithful friend who always comes when you call, your fishing buddies, and the tried and true performance of a new Ruud home AC system. So here's to reliability, built into everything we do. Rely on Ruud. Get reliable cooling and comfort installed by a certified Ruud Pro partner. Go to RuudACFlorida.com to schedule service with a Ruud Pro partner today. That's RuudACFlorida.com. Powered locally by Ferguson HVAC.
Live across Tampa Bay, the Pat and Aaron Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
The Blender.
The Blender on the Pat and Aaron Show is brought to you by Mazda of Clearwater. If you're thinking about a new or pre-owned vehicle, the choice is clear. It is Mazda of Clearwater. I also want to remind you guys, do not stress about that holiday gift right now. Our friends at IDC, they've got your back. International Diamond Center has a huge selection, unbeatable prices, and expert, non-commissioned experts who are going to help you along the way. And let's be honest, there's no gift that's more beautiful, more versatile, and more meaningful than a gorgeous piece of jewelry. Women love jewelry. And IDC has put together their most impressive selection of can't-miss gifts like rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands for every taste and every price range. From diamond classics to the new and most amazing designer fashion forward jewelry. And to make it easier for you to splurge this season, right now they're offering 5 years, 0 interest financing on virtually any holiday purchase. So that $6,000 eternity band, how about just over $100 a month? This is a special offer where everything is affordable. So get over there now, break it down. Again, 5 years, 0 interest payment. You can even finance the sales tax. So relax and let IDC help you navigate the jewelry world like a pro, so you can be the hero on Christmas morning. Jeff Atnella, Rock Riley, you listening? Lots of great jewelry. International Diamond Center. They're in Tampa, Clearwater, Lakeland, and Sarasota, and they are the official jeweler of the Gators. Hopefully, Tommy Chuck doesn't try to fire Brian Stamey for being the official jeweler of the Gators. All right, what have we missed during today's program, young man? I know we don't have a ton of time, but...
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. The Tampa Bay Lightning are on a roll right now. They have won 4 straight games, and they won with Aaron Jacobson in attendance in the nosebleeds last night, 3-1 over the St. Louis Blues. And they got 2 big ones coming up on Sunday and Monday. Back-to-back games against the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Sunday, that game is at 5 p.m. at Amalie, and then Monday, the game is at 7 p.m. down in Sunrise.
Yeah, with a football Friday today, we have not given the Lightning enough love, but they have been unbelievable, and I think they're just going to keep getting better and better as this season goes along. I love the way that Jake Gensel has fit into that first line.
Aaron Jacobson tweeted out, "I'm a man of the people, sitting up in the nosebleeds." And
Did you see what Nick Wise said?
Yeah, you got that ticket free. Those people pay. Good job, Nick Wise. Love you, Aaron.
Hey, that's not a bad little Tampa Sunday if you pop over to Amalie, go watch that game, leave Amalie.
That is nice.
Bucks come on at 8:30. Not a bad little Tampa Sunday there.
It's nice, man.
Yeah, and also this weekend, too, keep an eye on your South Florida Bulls. Saturday at 3 p.m., you can go to the Yuengling Center and see them take on East Texas A&M. That game will also be broadcast on ESPN+. South Florida Bulls at 5-6 right now on the young season, about to start American Athletic Conference play. Jeff Atnella, what are you thinking about the Bulls men's squad this year?
Hey, we own that conference until proven otherwise. You got to dethrone the champ, so we're getting ready for conference play, baby. We own that conference until proven otherwise.
Go Bulls.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough year for those kids, man, just to try to play every game that they go out. They're reminded of what they lost, and it's got to be incredibly difficult, and it makes them even that much more of somebody that you want to follow and root for.
Yeah, absolutely. Emotionally heavy over there for sure, but you know, again, conference play is what it's all about in college basketball. So once that conference play gets started, then we'll see what we're all about.
There you go.
And we'll go ahead and wrap up the blender with this news flash. I don't think you're aware, Pat Donovan. This is my last show until December 30th. I'm gone all week next week, man.
Guess what?
What?
Me too.
Really?
Me too.
Wow.
I'm on Monday. They set me up because, usually I have the day after a primetime game off so I can actually sleep a little bit. They set me up with the at-home unit. So I'll be dialing in on Monday. So do you know who's here Monday? Because I need to be ready for
I believe it's
me at home.
I believe it's Derek Dubose. I may be wrong though.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's going to be a good break. It'll be the longest I've been gone from Florida since moving down here 3.5 years ago. I've never been gone more than 3 or 4 days, but I'm going back to Kentucky for a full week. So wish me luck with the family for a whole week.
You'll miss us.
I will for sure, and the weather.
You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mick's a trip. You should meet Mick. Mick came down like maybe a couple months, maybe 6 months after Casey started working with us. And we all went to Angry Chair Brewing together. And Mick walked in the door and just started yelling at the top of his lungs. I was like, what is going on here?
That's where I get my presents.
Makes a lot of fun. All right, that's all we have time for today. Jeff Atnella, thank you for hanging out. And Rock Riley, thanks for hanging in for Aaron Jacobson
Always
today.
a pleasure, man. Thank you, guys.
Made my life a lot easier and a lot more fun.
Love it.
For these two guys, for Casey Warner in the penalty box, I am Pat Donovan. Thanks so much to the men and women who serve our country and to let me be a moron for a living. I won't put it on the rest of these guys today. Sorry, Mom. Not the rest of you. Have a great weekend. Go Bucks.
It's exciting! I'm excited too.
That was fucking awesome.
I'm special.
This report is sponsored by Audible.
Delays on southbound US 19 just south of Gulf to Bay to past Bel Air. Also a crash investigation eastbound Roosevelt just before 49th Street in the left-hand lane. Crash in the Citrus Park area on southbound Sheldon just south of Citrus Park Drive. And delays on westbound I-4 just before downtown Tampa. Get traffic info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Randy Myers.
Get immersed in new worlds and ideas with Audible. Explore an incredible selection of audio podcasts and originals, all in one easy app. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Listening on the free iHeartRadio app? Thanks to Farah and Farah, it's never been easier to send your opinions directly to your favorite show. When you open the app, click the red talkback microphone and hit send. Farah and Farah, here to make it easy, Tampa.
It's a December to remember at Wesley Chapel Lexus, the largest Lexus dealer on Florida's West Coast. Drive home a new Lexus RX, our best-selling SUV for over a decade. Or the new Lexus TX with all-new third row. Plus, you get our exclusive lifetime plan. Plenty of new Lexus inventory arriving daily. When you think Lexus, think Wesley Chapel Lexus. WesleyChapelLexus.com. Largest dealer on Florida's West Coast based on volume in 2021, 2022, 2023.
The PayPal app has amazingly low prices for holiday shopping. Get cashback offers in the app, and when you use the PayPal debit card, PayPal stacks